For cancer, visit takeahealthystand.org.
Hey everybody, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. FanDuel is the best place to find all your favorite player props for the NBA Finals. And now you can make the smarter play with new performance trends. You want to check a player's consistency during the playoffs? Maybe they've been flirting with a potential triple-double. Get the latest stats right inside the app and see who's heating up. And after tip-off, you can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. If you don't already have FanDuel, it's not too late to get in on the action. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So visit FanDuel.com/Paul, P-A-U-L, and join today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
O'Reilly.
Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It is a steamy afternoon out there, a high of 90 degrees, but feeling more like mid-90s with the heat index. More showers and thunderstorms this evening. We do have a flood watch that's in effect up until 2 a.m. tomorrow morning, so multiple inches of rain could fall, more flooding could happen. 73 overnight tonight, and tomorrow another round of storms with highs in the low 90s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 320 points to 42,518.
Bryce in the pocket, steps up, eludes the rush, throws, end zone, caught, Adam Thielen, touchdown!
He'll toss it that way to Hampton, and he is in. Touchdown, Carolina.
Bailey, shotgun, snap left hashes, QB keeper, dives forward, touchdown, Bailey, his third of the night.
Cooper faces up with 5 and 4, drives Davis, spins, waiting, fades away, and hits! Game over! Series over! Sebastian!
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Happy Monday to you all. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. And just so you know, today's going to be a little different than most Mondays. Just a tiny different. We're gonna start it with something new. Monday Soundoff, it's just moved. We haven't lost it. It's not going anywhere. It's just moved. So 4:15 roughly, well, maybe a couple minutes after, is where we will hit our new Monday Soundoff, where we will take the same amount of time and open up the phone lines for all of you. Just moving it into the 4 o'clock hour. The number to bookmark if you have something you want to say. Where you, again, Monday Soundoff, for those of you that don't remember. We open up the phone lines, and you get to talk about whatever you want to talk about, and we respond. The number is 919-860-5326. So that's coming up at about 4:15, maybe a couple minutes after, but not at 3:30 where it normally lives. And where we start at 3 o'clock is starting with something we call the Big Three at 3. Doesn't that sound grand? Just sounds like everything's big, right? The Big Three at 3. It's like Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. Everything's bigger at 3 o'clock. Basically, 3 biggest sports stories. You'll figure it out. And number 1 is a doozy. Will Wade, NC State, men's basketball coach, is so darn good for college basketball and basketball in general, specifically here in the Triangle. Here's the tease, if you will. At about 3:15, we will hit this in earnest. We will talk a bit more in earnest about what he said, but the term dumb was used, and he was referencing Hubert Davis and the UNC coaching staff. That is, 100% true. Basically, they got Van Allen Lubin, meaning NC State did, out of the transfer portal. Van Allen Lubin played last year at UNC, and Will Wade pointed out some statistics that say perhaps Van Allen Lubin wasn't trusted enough or used in the right way last year because the other school was too dumb to not play him. He used the term dumb. That's fantastic. That's rivalry stuff. Whether you agree with it or not, and I'm not even saying I 100% do, but whether you agree with it or not, when you have a rival from across town using the term dumb, saying it with their chest, not being afraid, well, guess what? They are on the schedule just once this year, which is a travesty, but they are on the schedule, and you're going to have to back it up, right? You're going to have to get the most out of Van Allen Lubin. You're going to have to get something that they couldn't last year out of Van Allen Lubin, and when you play against UNC, you know what they're going to be trying to do. 3:15, stick around. We will have the ins and outs, and we will play that audio for you. You will hear what it sounds like when Van Allen Lubin says everything when Will Wade says everything about Van Allen Lubin that I just told you he said. So, you can call our bluff. We'll play the audio for you to prove it. Number 2 in the Big 3 at 3. Shout out to J.J. Spawn. J.J. Spawn won the U.S. Open this past weekend. First of all, life-changing, right? There's over $4 million in winnings, and this is a first-time major winner, and let's just say he was not on many people's betting cards to win, and if you did, congratulations, because you probably made a good amount of money as well. Golf is a real bleep, you know what I mean? Is a real bleeping bleeper. This dude, there it is, on Sunday, started his day bogeying 5 of the first 6 holes. He was in the running. He was one of the guys with the peloton, if you will, right? He was in the mix, and he birdied 5 of his first 6 holes. Hit a rake, had a great shot go actually off the pin, and really just a bad bounce. Just awful stuff. And then what did he do? When so many of us, anybody else have these golf games, right? You go in with all the best intentions. You were striping it at the range, and then by about the 5th hole, you're like, well, guess it's not my day. I'm going in the tank, right? Where's the drink cart? Let's get started. He locked back in. He played unbelievably down the stretch, and then there's this weather delay. All right, I'm just giving you sometimes I have to put big opinions on stories to make them entertaining. That's kind of my job. Sometimes I can just give you the facts, and it's entertaining enough. There's a weather delay, back 9, right? They come back out of the weather delay, and the course is a mess. The rough with the added moisture is thick and darn near impossible to play out of. There's what they won't call standing water, as Sam Burns learned, but it probably was, right there in the middle of the fairway, making your shots more difficult, and everybody starts spiraling. J.J. Spawn starts dropping putts, bombs, just from a million miles away. Ends up making the longest putt of the tournament to win it on 18. Changes his life, changes his career, enters him into a higher level, enters him into a higher realm. Gets to be peers with some of the greats that he used to chase. U.S. Open champion. Pretty darn cool for J.J. Spawn. And then number 3 in the Big 3 at 3. Florida, meaning the Panthers, takes a 3-2 lead in the Stanley Cup final. Brad Marchand. You know what's my takeaway from the Stanley Cup final thus far? I don't think either of these teams are overrated. I think they're both exceptional just because the Oilers have had to steal the 2 wins that they've gotten in kind of very dramatic fashion. Does not mean that they aren't as good as everybody thinks they are. But I do think Florida is an underrated skating team. And I've fallen victim to it, right? You when you talk about Florida, what do you talk about? When you talk about the Florida Panthers, what do you talk about? They're rats, right? Kachuk's always trying to get under your skin. Brad Marchand fits in perfectly. Sam Bennett's always slow motion falling into the goalie, right? There's all of these things they do to get under your skin. That's what is talked about so often. Maybe that makes them a bit overrated as skaters because they're playing great hockey. Right, that they're not the only, Edmonton isn't the only one scoring highlight goals. They're not. Brad Marchand is he's 37 years old. He has the reputation that he has. You might not want to root for him. I certainly don't. But then you watch some of these plays that are ending in goals, and you're like, goodness gracious, that dude can skate. Goodness gracious, that dude can puck handle or can pass or whatever it is. Florida is not just getting under the skin of Edmonton. They're not just luring them into plays that are out of their character. They're also playing really good hockey. And now Edmonton backs against the wall. I want to see what that squad does, right? Because as great as Florida is as skaters, they're not McDavid, and nobody is right now, right? He's the best player in the world. But we're starting to see some Edmonton conversations. I know McDavid did score, but we're starting to see some Edmonton conversations that are quieter versions of the ones we have about Sebastian Aho. He needs to be a little bit more selfish. He needs to be a little bit more searching for his own goal, rather than so often setting everybody else up. And that is always a part of the story for these guys. So, backs against the wall now, right? We don't have to decide if it's a must-win game. It is, right? If Florida wins, series over, season over, they're back-to-back champs, and they get all the bragging rights that come with that, which is a bummer, but you can't argue with wins. But there is this Edmonton team back against the wall that I'm excited to see what they look like when there is no tomorrow for them. Which, by the way, as many want to point out, there have been a decent amount of teams through history that have, I don't want to say decent amount, there's been more than a couple teams throughout history that have come back from 3-2 in high-profile series like this one, Stanley Cup final like this one, to win the series, including Sidney Crosby's first cup. So if Crosby's kind of passing the torch to McDavid, which, by the way, they're both announced on the first 6 players on the Canada roster for the Olympics. We'll get into that a little bit later. But if he's passing the torch, maybe they win their first Stanley Cup trophy the same way. Stanley Cup, Lord Stanley's Cup the same way. Again, Monday Soundoff has moved, so if you were really jacked up to call in at 3:30, first of all, I appreciate it, and I definitely still want to hear from you, but it's going to be a little after 4:15. Okay, so it'll be in the 4 o'clock hour. We will open up the phone lines for all of your takes. We will have plenty of time for it, I promise you. It just won't be at the traditional time of 3:30. Matter of fact, that's how it's going to be from now on. So reset your calendars or your schedules or the alarm you set to call in for Monday Soundoff from every Monday at 3:30 to every Monday couple minutes after 4:15. You can keep the number the same, as it always is. Heister Automotive Group Hotline, 919-860-5326. That'll open up for you in the 4 o'clock hour. As promised, when we return, we have the audio for you. Will Wade calls out Hubert Davis. There's no other way to say it. Hear that coming up next.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Maxed out on credit cards? Struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 five-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
A pepperoni pizza for the table. May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time. Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Handy Hugo's has a refreshing deal. 2 1-liter Pepsis for just $3. Quench your thirst at Handy Hugo's today.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. This song's kind. Have you seen the movie Dirty Work? It's Norm Macdonald. Actually, it might be the last movie that Chris Farley was in before he tragically passed. Artie Lang's in it. Anyway, there's a scene where they're getting they're in a bar, right? It's late. Guys start getting all testosterone filled, and they walk over to the jukebox, and an old man sitting there, and he says to one of the characters, "Oh yeah, looking like there's gonna be a fight. What are you gonna put on?" And the guy goes, "Oh yeah, Rolling Stone, Street Fighter, G7." And then the old man says, "You just hit G8." And then the whole fist fight in the bar is set to "If You Like Pina Coladas." I feel like that's just what happened because Will Wade and the NC State basketball team, are appearing ready for a fight, right? They're appearing ready to go. They're appearing ready for whatever the Triangle and the ACC has to bring their way. And it went, all right, let's talk about the first punch landed. What are you going to play? Dennis hit him with the little doop, 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 doop. Will Wade called out Hubert Davis. And there's really no way around that. He was at the Tobacco Road Sports Cafe in Raleigh, and there was an event where he was introducing the inaugural Will Wade era roster. It was like kind of a pack opening, right, as they started their summer workouts and get ready for the season, and brought out each player, right, except for Matt Abel, who is working out for Team USA, trying to make the U19 team, one of their incoming freshmen. But he said, Trey Holloman, point guard, transfer from Michigan State, right, brings leadership. And then he went to the next guy, Darian Williams. He's an unbelievable player, number one guy in the prospect in the transfer portal. He's going to be one of our leaders. And then he got to Van Allen Lubin, and Van Allen Lubin is transferring to NC State after a year playing for the Crosstown Tar Heels, and he came on as the year went on, played very well in the ACC tournament. We had an up-close view on that one, and did a lot of really good things. So when Will Wade introduced Van Allen Lubin, he easily could have said, guy with ACC experience, had a great run through the tournament last year. He's going to bring some veteran leadership to our post-play. Great player, looking forward to it. But that's not what he said. Instead, he said this.
The other school was too dumb to play him. When he plays 28+ minutes, he's done that in 23 games. He averages 15 and 8. I don't know why the hell they didn't play him. But we're going to play him, so he's going to average 15 and 8.
I don't know if you could hear that. It was a little grainy. So I will read it for you one more time. Will Wade on UNC transfer Van Allen Lubin. I don't know where we got him from. We found him on the side of the road. Ven is somebody. The other team was too dumb and not played him. When he plays 28 plus minutes, he's done that in 23 games. He averages 15 and 8. I don't know why, the HE double hockey sticks, they didn't play him. But we're going to play him, so he's going to average 15 and 8. We're excited about Ven. End of quote. The other school was too dumb. That's the quote. That's the sizzle. That's what everybody's going to get all fired up about. The other school was too dumb. That is an NC State coach, and the other school being mentioned was not just UNC, by the way, because obviously he did play at other schools prior to, but I don't think Vanderbilt's taken that as a personal attack, right? Here's why this is great. And I'm not saying it's great because, State's going to get the better on UNC, right? That's a rivalry that will settle itself on the court. It's great because that's what rivalries are. It's great because talking trash like that raises the stakes for the game. You have to go back it up. And by the way, it's not a hollow insult, right? The worst burns are the ones that come with a grain of truth. Actually, those are just bad burns. The worst burns are the ones that are just true. Not a grain of truth, they're just factual. Right? Our guy, Brian Murphy, WRAL Sports investigative reporter, I think he put it really well, right? I'm going to read the tweet from him. Wade's comments about Lubin included stats. Very accurate ones, actually. In 24 career games where he's played at least 28 minutes, he's averaged 14.8 points and 7.1 rebounds. At UNC, it was 15 and 6.8. So 15 and 8, 15 and 7, but he's played very well when trusted with minutes. And Will Wade is basically saying, I don't have to be a genius to figure out that when he plays more minutes, he plays really well, so we're going to play him more minutes, and they were too dumb to figure it out. It stings more when it's true. Especially when you look back at the times in the calendar last year where Van Allen Lubin was barely in the rotation for the Tar Heels. And then the second part of it all is what I kind of referenced there at the beginning. To the victor goes the spoils, right? Will Wade is not afraid. If he was afraid, he'd be lowering expectations. Right? What's the sales cliche, right? Under promise, over deliver. If Will Wade were hesitant, he has every right to say, well, this first year there's a lot of turnover. We're just going to try to improve every day, go 1-0 in practice. He's not doing that. He's calling one of the by the way, bully neighbors is how he referred to it in his introductory press conference. He said, I'm aware we have these bully neighbors. He is looking at the bullies and saying, game on. Now you got to go. Now you got to go back it up. Right now you have to go when UNC visits the Lenovo Center, which, by the way, NC State doesn't have to visit the Dean Dome for the first time in over 100 years. Thanks ACC for your schedule tweaks. When UNC visits NC State in the Lenovo Center, and if we are all as lucky enough to have them face off in an ACC tournament game or an NCAA tournament game, you better believe there's going to be a little extra sizzle with these kind of comments. Now here's the beauty of it. Hubert can respond. He doesn't have to. He can be the guy above the fray who's not going to get dragged down. He can be that, but it's so much better having different voices leading the different types of voices, different personalities leading the three teams in the triangle.
Well, now it's on Will Wade to back it up.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. If you don't play Van Allen Lubin, we're like, well, you're just doing the same thing that the other coach that you ripped on did.
Especially if whoever you're playing in place of Van Allen Lubin isn't giving you at least 15 and 8.
Yeah.
If you're sitting there saying, when this guy plays 28 minutes, he gets 15 and 8, he's either A, playing 28 or more minutes and giving you 15 and 8, or B, you got him on the bench because someone's giving you, 17 and 10. Like, those are the only two options, or else you look foolish. Because if I'm UNC, if I notice that perhaps he's playing 30 minutes a game and he's averaging 9 and 4, that's going to be fodder as well. That's going to be fodder as well. To me, things like this, like what Will Wade is like a really good shot blocker, right? Shot blockers, what do they have to do? They have to keep trying to protect the rim. Do you know what else happens to shot blockers? Occasionally they get dunked on, right? All of the best ones, right? Mutombo, Alonzo Mourning, Patrick Ewing, like that whole group they all got dunked on by Jordan at some point or another. But you got to keep going, right? This one might work out for Will Wade, it might not. You just have to win a lot more of these than you lose, and you will continue to build your brand. There has been, and this is no disrespect to Kevin Keatts, right? I hate where every time you compliment somebody who is new to a job, it's taken as some kind of a burn to the guy that had the job beforehand. But Kevin Keatts, John Shire, Hubert Davis, they are very buttoned up. All three of them, right? They're gonna resort to coach speak in a lot of ways, and it works obviously for Shire. It works to a degree. It has worked to a very high degree for Hubert Davis at times, and it did work at times for Kevin Keatts. Right? I'm not saying they have to be something different. I'm saying from an entertainment standpoint, from a competitive standpoint, sometimes you just need a different personality. When Will Wade took the job, there was a moment where I said the names of three absolutely revered individuals in this part of the country, right? And I'm talking about Dean Smith, Coach K, Jim Valvano. And the reason why I said those three weren't because I think the coaches here currently are the same quality of coaches. They got a long way before they sniff any of those three guys' resumes. But the personalities do seem like they line up a bit. And now Will Wade, like, you know, Jim Valvano you put a microphone in front of him, you're going to get something good from a media's perspective. Will Wade, I mean, he might not be batting 100%, but if you put a microphone in front of him, he's giving you something sizzly like 7 out of 10 times thus far. I think that's good. And I think it amps up and raises the stakes on the games that these teams play now. And once those stakes are raised, even higher than the traditional rivalry would entail, right? Once these stakes are raised, the games will be better because games are always more fun with more at stake. That's why the playoffs are awesome. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Now, I know that normally on a Monday at this point in time, I'd be telling you to get ready for your Monday sound-offs, but that has been moved. Trying to make sure everybody's aware. Instead of 3:30 for Monday sound-offs, it's been moved into the 4 o'clock hour. About 4:17, if we're being honest. You could just say 4:15. But that's where Monday sound-off is going to be. So if you have takes, if you have questions, if you have observations about the Canes offseason, about Will Wade's comments or anything else going on in sports, just save them for the 4 o'clock hour. I promise you will have plenty of time to hit the phone lines, the Heister Automotive Group hotline, and join the show. So that's in the 4 o'clock hour. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Right now, I want to tell you about Miller Lending. Tim Donnelly here for Gordon Miller and Miller Lending. I don't know if you're like me. I'm addicted to checking all the estimates of my home's value on all the websites. We watch the home improvement shows, all of it, all with an idea of how much our house is worth. Well, the thing is, at some point, maybe your house hits a number in the estimates that you're like, I think we have to sell and move into our dream home down the street. Well, you could drive yourself crazy going, but the rates, they're high right now. Mortgage rates, we don't want to do that again. Oh, the mortgage rates, we don't want to lock it in. Or you could not drive yourself crazy and instead call Gordon Miller and Miller Lending and get hooked up with a no-cost loan. We're talking a no-closing cost loan. What that does is gives you the peace of mind that if rates drop, if and or when they drop, you can refinance with no costs, no fees, no money out of your pocket, no closing costs, none of it. You just get the lower monthly payment, so you take advantage of the market. You're not kicking yourself for locking it in a month ago, and you're living in your dream house. right? And you're living in your dream house. So if you want to learn more, it's very simple. All you have to do is give them a call. They're located right here in Cary. So locally owned and operated, you'll talk to somebody in the Triangle if you call Miller Lending at 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377, or visit them online at millerlending.com to learn more. Very easy to remember. Miller Lending, the website, millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. We'll be back in less than 3 minutes with the Dean's List. You do not want to go anywhere.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Hey friends, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for Clayton Homes. And as you know, here in North Carolina, summers heat up, and so are those deals at the Clayton Homes Sign and Save event. Right now, you can save up to $5,000 instantly on a brand new home. That's $2,500 off a single section or $5,000 off a multi-section home. And you know these homes are built tough in state-of-the-art facilities that protect them during construction. And you know every home is loaded with Energy Smart features, giving you comfort, efficiency, and long-term savings. And with tons of floor plans and fully furnished models, it's easy to find your perfect match. Visit your local Clayton Homes or Oakwood Homes, or check out limited-time offers now at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. But don't wait. The Clayton Homes Sign and Save event ends August 31st. Terms and conditions for the Sign and Save sales event at manufacturedhomeoffers.com. Available only at participating Clayton Homes family of brands retailers through 8/31. Amount of savings may be limited. Ask for details. May not be available with certain financing. Lender restrictions apply.
Need CPAP supplies fast? I'm Brandon Giggling, president of Parkway Sleep Health Centers, and we are the Triangle's top sleep provider, offering quick access to the equipment you need for better sleep. Get the right supplies right when you need them. With over 20 years of experience, our expert team is here to help you sleep better, sooner.
Discover why so many trust Parkway Sleep Health Centers for better sleep. Visit parkwaysleep.com now and start your journey to a healthier night's sleep. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep. Sound health.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Happy Monday, everybody. I will say this before we get into the Dean's List. No official movement yet in the Canes offseason. I know that right now the entire Canes fandom, all the Caniacs out there, it does seem like Braveheart. Like everyone's just waiting to react to whatever move ends up happening. Nothing's happened yet. We'll let you know when you can rush.
Keyword yet.
Nothing's happened yet. There's conversations that are taking place, leaks happening here or there on who they might be into, who they might not be into, who might be interested in Carolina, but nothing tangible yet.
July 1st, free agency. So 2 weeks from tomorrow, free agency officially starts. That doesn't mean that you can't trade for the rights to discuss and negotiate with the player.
Or just straight up trade for a player under term.
That too.
There's things that can happen, and I know we all want them to. We want to buy the jerseys. We want to get the bobbleheads. We want to be all in, but nothing yet. But we will talk about, as the show goes on, some of the things that are under consideration. But I did just want to get kind of ahead of that one a little bit. I know we're moving some things around. We already mentioned Monday Soundoff. Not right now. That'll be in the 4 o'clock hour, about 4:15, 4:20. But the Dean's List remains. So let's go ahead and put class in session. The Dean's List, the part of the show where we highlight those in the college sports world that deserve a little extra praise, that should be receiving a few extra accolades, right? Maybe they're sliding under the radar a little bit. I'll get it started. Dennis, they're from South Carolina, but they're not South Carolina, so perhaps it's okay. Coastal Carolina baseball gets a Dean's List mention on this one.
Coastal's acceptable.
All right. Myrtle Beach is its own island. It's like international waters. They're on a 25-game win streak in college baseball. That is absurd. And they are in Omaha for one of the 8 teams remaining. Or are they down to 7 now? I think someone's already been eliminated. 7 teams remaining for the national championship. And all they've done since they've arrived in Omaha is beat Arizona and beat Oregon State. 7-2 and 6-2. They're not even like making them necessarily, Actually, I didn't watch them. Maybe they scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th or something. But 7-2, 6-2 seems like they're kind of dominant. And they will play on Wednesday. They got a nice little break here. Either Louisville or Oregon State. So whichever one of those end up still alive going into Wednesday will play Coastal Carolina. So the Chanticleers making waves as do you know what's actually kind of frustrating? And I get what he's doing, but like the Coastal team and the Coastal coach is so mad when people call him like a Cinderella or they call him some kind of like underdog because they've won a national championship in the last 10 years and they're this and they're that. Just let us like you, right? We like the underdog. I'm watching right here in the studio. There's Arkansas, Murray State. Both of them actually facing elimination. Yeah, we are fans of Murray State because they're an underdog. Right? If we want to latch on to the teal Chanticleers because you're an underdog, just let us. Stop telling us we're wrong. And keep winning, right? That's just going to get everybody on your side. Next up on the Dean's List, Matthew Abel and Nick Hymenia. These are incoming freshmen to the Triangle for college basketball. Matthew Abel, 5-star, NC State, the biggest recruit, especially high school recruit, thus far in the Will Wade era, which has been, a couple months. Nick Hymenia is a under-talked about member of the Duke incoming recruiting class. Obviously not the Boozers. But he is also a 5-star, top 15, roughly, depending on which site you're looking at, recruiting the country. Both of them are among the 33 players at the 2025 U.S. Men's U19 National Training Camp, which is, I'm jealous, right? The chance to put on, like, your country's name on your jersey has to be awesome. We're going to talk about the Olympic first 6 players on each Olympic hockey team being announced, the roster's first 6 players being announced. It's a huge honor, and these guys, I know U19 isn't necessarily the men's national team, but it's still pretty darn cool. And if they end up making the team, right, 33 players, there's going to be a hefty amount of cuts. But if they end up making the team, they get to be a part of it, which is sweet. According to the article I read, supporting as on-court coaches during training camp will include Hubert Davis, University of North Carolina. So, State and Duke getting a player coached up a bit by UNC's coach. Probably some good trash talk happening there. Some good zingers being sent back and forth. At least I hope so. As they work hard and, try to represent our country the right way. Dennis, do you have a Dean's List member you'd like to throw at us?
I would still like to throw in Murray State for staying alive in the College World Series, which they currently are right now. They're down 1-0 to Arkansas, but the fact they're still playing, pretty awesome.
Yeah, we've highlighted the best way to talk about how awesome what they're doing is of this 8 teams in Omaha, the 7 highest paid coaches, obviously not including Murray State, we're talking head coaches here, make between $400,000 and about $1.8 million per year. Murray State, who's made it as far, right? They're facing elimination now, down 1, top of the 6th, but as Dennis said, still alive. Their coach makes $68K, and they're still alive, and they've made it to Omaha. And I've said this before, but Murray State better find all the change in their couch cushions and all the money. They better pass the hat trying to keep their coach around, because my guess is there'll be a coach with a team with a slightly higher budget going, we'll triple that and save a bunch of money after we fire our coach now.
For sure. Hey, tack on another 0 and you're probably still saving some money.
Yeah. Seriously. You'd still be on the lower end of schools at Omaha if you're paying $680K. He has $68K. It's crazy. Last one for you here on a Dean's List. I just want to say it again. Will Wade for calling out Hubert Davis. We'll see how it works out for him, but I love the no fear. We'll see how – maybe it'll be the thing where it's like, old takes exposed. We'll be tweeting everything out about it after it works or doesn't work for Will Wade. But, once you sign – and this is the other thing. NC State's been doing their conditioning offseason, their basketball conditioning. They were doing some kind of move where they're holding a 45-pound plate and either jogging or walking, right? It's hard to tell when they are still images. But there's some images of, during workouts, Van Allen Lubin and the NC State stuff moving weight. And underneath it, there's just a whole bunch of comments, right? Obviously, it's all rival-related with UNC. And if you're going to take the transfer from UNC, you might as well lean into it, right? It's not you might as well. Don't try to hide behind coach speak once you go take a player who at times was their best player on the floor during the ACC tournament. Don't go there and then just, try to downplay it. Lean into it. As long as you don't get personal, it's all good. Actually, is that personal? Saying the other team was too dumb? Is that a little...
It might be a little personal.
Yeah, you might take it personally.
I think you would, yeah.
So, all right. It's okay to get kind of personal as long as you're talking about their basketball decisions and you're not calling them dumb outside of the sport. If you're just saying he's dumb for not playing it, I'm okay with that. I don't think that crosses the line.
As a former coach, if someone publicly told me or said out loud, the way that person is coaching is not good enough or they're doing it wrong, it's like, oh really? Oh, okay.
I completely agree.
You're going to call me out on that? Fine. Oh, yeah, it definitely gets personal.
I will circle that on the calendar. I'm getting that. I'm just saying, usually I say as long as you don't get too personal, trash talk is okay. I don't think you cross a line talking about basketball decisions.
Oh, sure.
If you went did you see how much money he put in crypto? What a dummy. Now we're talking about other stuff, right? Start talking about families or anything like that. You're crossing lines. But saying, hey, you didn't play this guy enough, so we brought him out of the transfer portal and now we will. I think that's within the realms of okay. And if Hubert Davis wants to go win the game and then say, not bad for a dummy after he beats State, if he does, I think that's completely okay as well. And he can get more personal than that even. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you. And we should dismiss the Dean's List.
Yes.
Now Dennis Cox has something for you.
I feel like I have a class announcement I got to make here. Dennis Cox here for my friends. Oh, this is an announcement. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Folks, one of the things that's disappointing about this time of year is the weather can kind of stink, especially if you're a motorcycle rider. Yeah, well, I'm not sure if it's going to be a thunderstorm here in the next 5 minutes. So guess what? The bike stays parked. And this is something you always have to keep cognizant of if you're a motorcycle rider. Make sure before you go out on the road that the road conditions are going to be good. Check and see if the areas you're going to ride, if there's not road work or some of those things that are going on, if there's not a car accident, make sure you stay safe out there on the road. But if you are injured in a motorcycle accident, this is where Law Tigers comes in. You give them a call, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, even before you contact your insurance company. Insurance companies, they just want to give you the least amount possible. Whereas Law Tigers, they're riders too. They're part of that motorcycle riding community. They know what you're going through after an accident. They know what your bike and what your gear are worth to you, and that's why your case evaluation with Law Tigers is always free, and they don't get paid until your case settles. Again, the phone number is 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Again, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, North Carolina's motorcycle injury lawyers. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. In just a couple of minutes. We'll be back quickly. We have winners and losers. Don't go anywhere.
Is your whole home operating at peak performance? With Newcomb & Company, your independent trained dealer, proudly serving our community for over 70 years. As a Comfort contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs, including repairs and replacements for faucets, toilets, piping, garbage disposals, water heaters, drain cleaning, and more. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Tim Donnelly here for Men's Health Month. We are catching up with Dr. Jonathan Chappell, orthopedic sports medicine surgeon from Wake Orthopedics. Doctor, when is an injury bad enough? How do you know that you should go see an orthopedics specialist?
It's a great question, and it's something that both providers and patients often struggle with. If you are in activity and you have an injury and you feel a pop or you have immediate swelling, immediate pain in a joint and you can't bear weight, such as lower extremity, like an ankle or knee, or you notice a deformity, like in a wrist or a collarbone, these are circumstances you should probably see someone at an urgent care like Wake Orthopedic Urgent Care or at Wake Med to seek help right away. If it's something where there's some mild swelling, some irritation of a joint for a few days after an event, you can often give it a period of rest, take some anti-inflammatories, do some stretching, and many times they'll resolve on their own.
For answers to questions like that one and much more about men's health, please visit wakemed.org.
Will you make the right call? Time's running out, pressure's on, and you need your roof replaced. Hi, I'm Holly from RoofWorks. It's 4th and goal, and the decision's in your hands. The competition can't stop you. You're about to score the game winner. We've trained for years for this moment to raise the roof for you. So avoid the noise and put us in the game. Call RoofWorks today or visit us online at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Monday, Soundoff has moved. We will open up the phone lines for all your takes. Little after 4:15. So get ready for that. Phone lines will be open little after 4:15. Right now, here in the 3 o'clock hour, we have a little segment that we would like to call Winners and Losers.
This team will never lose again.
All right, this is more vibes, right? It is winners and losers. And it's not just this team scored more than the last team, so they're the winner. No, it's got to be the whole week, got to be some vibes, got to be some storylines. My first one will either be a winner or a loser based on how Dennis answers this question. Dennis, have you ever covered baseball, like in a serious sense?
I have not really, no. I mean, I've covered like individual games, done some play-by-play things on those lines, but never like on a beat.
Okay, how do you stand, or where do you stand on, hypothetically, if a player had been pitching for a decent part of a game and the opposing team had not found their way onto first base or second base or third base?
Okay.
Do you address it on a broadcast, or do you not address it on a broadcast?
I'm not afraid to address it on a broadcast.
In that case,
because broadcast jinx don't exist.
Perfect. In that case, we're going to get started with a winner. And that winner is going to be the pitcher for Arkansas by the last name Wood. Let me see what his first name is because he's deserving of it.
Okay.
Gage Wood.
Gage Wood. That sounds like a baseball player.
It does, doesn't it? Gage Wood is on the hill, as they say, for the Arkansas Razorbacks against the Murray State whatevers they are. In Omaha, College Baseball World Series. He has gone 6 innings, no hits, no walks, no earned runs, obviously, 13 strikeouts.
Through 6 innings?
Through 6 innings.
Jeez.
That would be a potential, if he is able to keep it up, perfecto. They're showing him on... you know what? It's funny because I have the game on in studio, but obviously it's on mute, just kind of checking for scores and stuff. And I did notice, like, every time I look up, they had this guy on screen. He'd just be getting water, or he'd just be, even when he's not pitching. And I was just going, all right, he must be having a good game. Paul Ihander, our PD, came in and said, yeah, he's got a perfect game going through 6.
I did notice that there were no hits, like at the end of one of the innings, but I wasn't sure if someone had reached on base on an error or something along those lines. But even the starting pitcher for Murray State went 6 innings and only gave up 1 run.
Yep.
Now, they're in the bullpen now, but still, like, giving up only 1 run over 6 is still impressive. But, yeah, he's got the perfecto going.
That's pretty cool. Baseball's cool for that kind of stuff.
We'll definitely monitor that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably, if you believe in jinxes, you'll blame us if it's broken up. I do want to hit a different winner, though. This one is planned. Winner, Desmond Bain of the formerly, the Grizzlies, now of the Magic.
Yeah.
I say this all the time. There's really only a few times in your athletics career where you find out exactly how much you're worth. And one of them is if you're traded with nothing else, right? Because coaches will say, oh, we love you, we value you, all these things. But if you never hit free agency, you never get to see what the market thinks of you. And if you were drafted, maybe that's, they valued you as a first rounder, but thought they could get you in the second, right? Like, you never know exactly. When you are traded, if it's not like, me and 3 picks and a player being traded for 4 prospects and 3 more picks, if it's just you being traded, you find out exactly what you're worth. Desmond Bain was traded, and he found out he is worth a ton. According to ESPN, Desmond Bain is being traded for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. UNC fans will remember Cole Anthony.
Yeah.
4 unprotected first-round picks.
That's wild.
And 1 first-round pick swap. Desmond Bain had to be like, I didn't know I was worth. Look at. He's got to be puffing his chest walking into the Magic like, yeah, you guys really think a lot of me. Ha ha ha. 4 first-round picks, a pick swap, and a couple of legit NBA rotational players. Those aren't like, hey, we're just going to stash you at the end of the bench, guys.
No, these guys like Caldwell Pope and Anthony will play. These guys will play. And then, like you said, the 4 unprotected first-round picks, which is kind of like, wait, that's more than what the Mavericks got for Luka.
Depending on how much you think Anthony Davis is worth, yeah. That's Desmond Bain has to feel really good about himself. Really good about himself.
Magic are all in, clearly.
Needed shooting. Apparently, Bain brings that. That's a winner. I'll give you a loser. Sam Burns from the U.S. Open. We talked about J.J. Spawn earlier, how great his run was. Sam Burns was in position to win the U.S. Open and change his life. There was standing water on a fairway, okay, which usually leads to relief, right? You can move it no closer to where you were, but basically get it out of the standing water if it's not intentionally there. If it's a puddle rather than like a hazard. Brought the official up. The official said no. Went and got a second official. The official said, nope, not standing water. It's just like super soaked turf. Bad shot leads to a bad shot. He never got over it. He was mad about the ruling. You could see his brain thinking about that rather than the shots. Never got over it. Ended up costing himself maybe a major, but definitely a much better finish than he had. That's why golf is so darn difficult, right? One or 2 officials make a ruling, and suddenly you're playing the best in the world, and you unravel down the stretch.
No, he's got to play it where it lies.
I had
to play it off of Frickenstein's fat foot.
Remember? I think I'll just win it now. Happy Gilmore. By the way, did you see, I guess winner Happy Gilmore 2? I was watching the Stanley Cup final, and on the ice it said Happy Gilmore too, in the digital little
Oh yeah, the overlays.
graphics.
The guys standing behind the penalty box were wearing like happy on the front of their chest painted on, and the back said rules.
Yeah,
like you see in the movie.
So they're aiming for the hockey crowd, which is kind of appropriate for Happy Gilmore. Do you have some winners and losers, Dennis?
I have a winner.
Okay, let's
for
hear
this
it.
weekend. College basketball fans in the Triangle, because now we get more drama stirred up from Will Wade towards UNC.
That works. That works.
As someone who's not a fan of either of those schools and just enjoys watching them both play, love it.
Yep.
Love it.
It will be. There'll be a little added bite, which I think is fun. How about this loser? All of us are getting older.
Don't remind me.
I tried not to. The Boozer twins were on the Slam magazine cover, and I was like, that's Carlos Boozer's kids. And then on ESPN, they had an article about the NBA Players Association had a top 100 camp for high school recruits, and they had like top performers. Do you know who were mentioned amongst the top 100 camp top performers? Abdul Aziz and Malik Olajuwon. Those are Hakeem Olajuwon's kids. And I went, all right, Hakeem, he's probably a bit older. I'm not gonna beat myself up about that one. Then there was Isaiah and Carter Barnes. Those are Matt Barnes. You remember him from the Lakers, from the Warriors, from all over the place. His twin kids. I went, that's kind of younger. Eric Dampier Jr. was there. Taj Ariza, that's Trevor Ariza's son, was one of the top performers. Caden and Kalik House, that's Eddie House's kids. Reese Alston, that's Rafer Alston, a.k.a. Skip to My Lou's son. We have an And One Mixtape Tour's son about to go into the college ranks or maybe overseas, maybe to the mixtape game. I don't know, but makes you feel real old when the players that you grew up watching's kids are now going to be the players that you're watching. I don't know, it made me feel like the inevitable passage of time was speeding up. I got a winner for us, actually. Shohei Ohtani. He's going back on the mound today.
Yeah, he is pitching tonight.
He has been on an unreal tear at the plate. Now he's going to go pitch. We haven't gotten to witness that part of his special in a while because he had the surgery and he obviously was able to return to hitting well before he was returned to pitching. But it's still crazy what he does. And then last one, I'll give you a loser here. Hate to do it. It's one of our media colleagues, Stephen A. Smith. Did you see what happened to Stephen A?
Bruh.
He was caught.
What?
There it is. He was caught playing solitaire on his phone.
I did see that.
In the stands while watching the NBA Finals. And it was a picture. A fan took a picture and went viral. Stephen A. responded with, pardon me for multitasking during timeouts. Turns out the fan had a video.
Yeah.
And it was while play was going on. So his defense was, it was during a timeout. And then they're like, no, it wasn't. And they posted the video. It's just a bad look. If you're the guy that's supposed to be like the ball, I know ball, right? I have the basketball, everything. I don't miss anything. And then you're sitting there playing solitaire. I mean, at least go like Brick Breaker or Candy Crush. We're going solitaire. With Minesweeper was busy. What are we doing here?
Hey, don't disrespect solitaire and Minesweeper now.
That the little pinball game that was on every PC back in the 90s.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know. Just do Wordle once a day and move on, Stephen A. Like everybody else.
Yeah, get your connections. You're fine. I will say this, though. I mean, I think for us, you and I watch. We watch. And so for me as a media person, I see someone who's on a national spotlight not watching the game, especially when you're in attendance. I'm sorry. I do lose a little respect for you.
My thing is, there are national media members whose brand is I watch like a fan and I'm just excited by it and I overreact. And then there are media members who are like, no, I know this. And one of them comes with more of a responsibility than the other. And if you want to argue X's and O's, you kind of got to be locked in. Or at least not playing solitaire. You can be there lost in your thoughts if you need to relax.
Hey, think about your grocery list.
Yeah,
I just don't need to see it.
Exactly. You just can't get caught if we're being real. Just can't get caught. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That's winners and losers. We're heading to the 4 o'clock hour and football at 4 with a rumored interest by the Carolina Panthers in a particularly high-profile free agent. I'll tell you who coming up next.
Maxed out on credit cards, struggling with high interest debt? You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated the kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen, your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service is off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166171 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Triple play, triple play, triple play. 3 ways to win on every scratch-off. They're like a 3-man wrecking crew of winning potential smashing into your bare hands. Triple threats of cold, hard cash. Prizes up to $1 million. 3 times the play, 3 times the thrills, and 3 ways to win. Triple play from the North Carolina Education Lottery with triple action-packed chances to win.
Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.84 to 4.79. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Is going to your local bar the worst part of your day? The bartender ignores you, mediocre food, warm beer? Then why go there? Take 5 minutes and drop in at Sharky's, where they'll give you a free evaluation, and you can learn about all the bars that you shouldn't go to. Sharky's has helped thousands find the right bar to hang at. What are you waiting for? Sharky's evaluation could be the cure to the worst part of your day. Change your bar, change your life. Sharky's, 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
Get in the hole!
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. It's a hot afternoon out there. A high of 90 degrees under variably cloudy skies. Evening showers and thunderstorms for tonight, and some of that rain could be heavy. Several more inches of rain are possible. We do have a flood watch in effect for today and tonight. 73 overnight tonight, and tomorrow's high 92 with a chance of storms.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 296 points to 42,494.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are getting closer to Monday Soundoff, where we will open up the phone lines for all of your calls. So the new time will be kind of 4:17-ish, 4:15. So get ready to call in, 919-860-5326. Bookmark it, get ready. Right now it's football at 4, though. That's not changing. That never will. The Panthers, according to Jeremy Fowler of ESPN, are interested in free agent safety Justin Simmons. They should be interested in Justin Simmons. They absolutely should be. Now, it's interesting how we learned this bit of news from Jeremy Fowler. This was not from a ESPN article where he was, hey, here's who the Panthers are interested in. It wasn't that, right? It wasn't rumblings out of minicamp. Here's all of my notes. He was actually on a Philly radio station, 97.5 The Fanatic, and they were talking about Justin Simmons as a possible Philly addition in free agency. And Jeremy Fowler pointed out that Simmons wants a guy from the Vic Fangio defensive coaching tree. He wants a system from the Vic Fangio coaching tree because where Simmons had the most of his success was in Denver, where for a big portion of it he was playing for Vic Fangio. And Carolina and Ejiro Evero, the defensive coordinator, he is a Vic Fangio guy. He had coached in Denver. He comes from the Vic Fangio school of coaching, so there are similarities there. The Vic Fangio obviously works in Philly as well, but there's that for Justin Simmons. And by the way, I think that is a super underrated part of which free agents fit. And I think it's a super overlooked part of like recruiting even. Right? If I were a friend or an advisor or a family member of a top football recruit, then they're talking about where they want to go. Obviously, academics, and you find the fit for you and all those things. But I would talk about style of play and system as much as anything. Right? Don't just go somewhere because you think your talent adds up. Go somewhere because you know how you can thrive in that system. So Justin Simmons saying, I want to go to a Vic Fangio system is smart on his part. Now, does that limit his options? Yes, but he can be confident that he will be able to do what he is being asked of. It's really no different than when you transition from a coach that runs a 3-man front on defense to a 4-man front on defense. They usually, switch out their roster pretty quickly, and it's because the same skill sets don't apply. So you don't want to go somewhere where your skill set doesn't apply. So if Simmons wants to make Carolina a almost default finalist because he wants somebody that runs a Vic Fangio style defense, that's awesome. Fortuitous bounce for the Panthers because Simmons is a good player. Didn't really have his best season this past year with the Falcons, but he's a 2-time Pro Bowler. He's just 32 years old this year. He's ready for this. I've talked about getting their hands on the ball and forcing turnovers. He has 32 career interceptions, led the league in interceptions in 2022. He is a 4-time second-team AP All-Pro. He's a really good player. Now, the only thing that I think would make it even better would be if he were 27 instead of 32. I'd be even more jacked up. But this is the first offseason, and I've talked about this with Jair Alexander. I've talked about this, who's also a free agent corner. When Jermaine Pratt was on the former NC State guy, North Carolina native, when he was a free agent for a day or two before signing elsewhere. This is the first offseason where you could convince me, and I am open to the Panthers clamoring and scratching and clawing for every single player that helps them win. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but when you start a rebuild and when you burn down for a rebuild and you go draft at the top and all of those things, your priority, and I hate to say this, but your priority from a front office viewpoint is a little different than just scratching and clawing for every win. Right? We saw it when they let Brian Burns go in a trade, right? And then they used the money they saved on Brian Burns on the offensive side of the ball, right? So much of the last couple of years has been about getting Bryce Young to a spot that you feel good about setting up Dave Canales' offense to have success, right? It's been about building specific things within your structure, and dare I say, if we have to choose between playing a 26-year-old who might be with us for the next 10 years and a 34-year-old who might help us win another game or two but won't be around when it's time to compete, you always lean towards the 24-year-old, the 23-year-old. And if they end up not being great, fine. You still bumped up your draft stock by not scratching and clawing for every win. That's not tanking to me, by the way. That's big picture planning by the front office. Right? That's big picture planning by the front office. Every coach and player in that locker room still fights as hard as they possibly can to win. And if that's ever not the case, you got issues. That's why it was such a big deal. I'm blanking on his name. On the I think he's a defensive coordinator now for the Vikings. Oh man, Dennis, help me out here. All right, Dennis is busy in there. The coach for the Dolphins, who said that the owner came down and told the head coach to lose games. That becomes an issue. But if the front office is just making decisions to play young guys, that's not tanking to me. If this were 2 years ago, I would have told no shot should you sign Justin Simmons. No shot should you sign Jair Alexander, because those guys might help you win another game or two, right? Those guys might help you, win 7 instead of 5 games, which takes your draft pick from 8th to 17th. And that's not what's best. But now you have your quarterback, at least you hope you do. You have your stud playmaker on offense, McMillan, or at least you hope you do. You know you have your 2 cornerstones, 1 corner, 1 defensive lineman on your defense, and J.C. Horn and Derek Brown. You pay them like it. You have what you hope are your difference makers. Now build that winning culture. Now get them used to playing games that matter in the second half of the year. Now stay mathematically eligible for the postseason as long as you possibly can. Justin Simmons will help you do that. Because I'll tell you this. We talked with Dan Morgan, and we've heard it from Dave Canales. Looking at the safeties on this roster now, they think there's some hidden ability by one of the traditional strong safeties to play free safety, right? And Merrick is probably the one with the best chance. I'll tell you right now, offensive coordinators are going to make sure you are right. Whoever's playing free safety is not going to wear a jersey number for the first month. They're going to wear a bullseye. And the offense is going to try to take advantage of them every single snap until they prove that they're ready to play. If you get Justin Simmons out there, they won't be able to do that. And honestly, same is true at the other cornerback spot, right? Which is why I was entertaining Jair Alexander for a similar reason, and still would be entertaining Jair Alexander for a similar reason, who's a North Carolina guy, meaning native. Michael Jackson and whoever plays free safety, Michael Jackson, the corner opposite J.C. Horn, and whoever plays free safety, when I'm game planning to play against the Carolina Panthers, if I'm Jacksonville for week 1, I am trying to, and I'm Liam Cohen, their new head coach and play caller, I'm looking for every different kind of scheme play to get Brian Thomas Jr. or Travis Hunter one-on-one with Michael Jackson or Justin Simmons. Or Evan Ingram, I guess, with Justin Simmons more, right? The tight end that can run, matched up with a safety. If I see those one-on-ones, I'm telling Trevor Lawrence, you can look away. You're not considering throwing anywhere else. You're coming right back there until they prove they're ready to cover.
I know second-year guy Damani Richardson, I saw at minicamp last week, was kind of, quote-unquote, running with the ones, if that makes sense, as that free safety, which we saw him play a bunch last year, was around the football and showed some promise as a safety, as a rookie last year undrafted. But it's still a major question mark. And I'm wondering if the compensation, as a way to compensate for it, I should say, is hope that the pass rush got better.
A lot better.
And then that quarterbacks just don't have time to sit back in the pocket, and that kind of protects you from getting exposed.
That is, you're either depending a ton on a second and third round rookie in Nick Scorton, Princely Umanmielen, and a free agent acquisition in Pat Jones to get at the quarterback often and quickly, or you're depending on a second-year undrafted free agent in the secondary to guard for 4 or 5 seconds at the free safety spot. Justin Simmons makes me feel a whole lot better than either of those scenarios.
Yeah. Or you hope that DJ Wanham or Turk Wharton, some of these other veteran guys that they brought in as well, just get some sort of push up.
A little bit more size, collapse the pocket, maybe not as traditional as bending the edge and getting the quarterback differently. There are a bunch of different ways to make a quarterback uncomfortable, but if they know where they're going, if a quarterback knows where they're going, they're usually, especially at the NFL level, they can buy a little bit of time and get there. It's where they're buying time and still deciding where they're going to go that things become hairy for the good ones, right? Obviously, you get a rookie, you get somebody rattled, everything changes. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I would be after Justin Simmons is what I'm saying. If you would be, we want to hear it. Or if you have a take on the Canes offseason, or if you have a take on Will Wade calling out Hubert Davis, as we discussed earlier today, we want to hear it all. We are opening up the Heister Automotive Group hotline for a Monday Soundoff at its new time. 919-860-5326. Call in now. 919-860-5326. Your takes, your questions, your reactions. We want to hear them. 919-860-5326. hopefully we'll hear from a whole bunch of you coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Does Josh Allen need to repeat his MVP for the Bills to get to the Super Bowl, Smalls?
No, he has been great in the postseason and played Patrick Mahomes really tough in years that he didn't win the MVP. I think he certainly needs to continue playing at the level that he's been playing at, but I don't think he necessarily needs to be the best player in the NFL in order for them to break through.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Now that it's hot outside, everybody's spending more time outside. And I have noticed that there are people that have gutter issues, whether there's stuff still stuck up there or a gutter hanging off the house. You can help.
Absolutely, Adam. And let me tell you this. If you're looking up and it looks like a garden in your gutters, you need to call the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. We have the gutter helmet, which will keep you from cleaning out the inside of your gutters for as long as you own the home. We can also replace the existing gutters. We can replace any rotten wood. We're a one-stop shop company that can take care of all your home improvement needs, whether it's gutters, windows, siding, doors, roofing. We really can turnkey the whole project and make an easy, comfortable payment through some of our 12-month interest-free financing options. And then you get a lifetime warranty at the end of it all.
12 months interest-free?
You heard that right.
12 months interest-free. AluminumCompany.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
The North Carolina Courage, the Triangle's premier women's pro soccer team, and First Horizon Stadium at Cary's WakeMed Soccer Park is the place to be. To believe, become, and belong. The Courage invite you to Pride Night on June 21st, presented by Cary Estate Planning. Get tickets at nccourage.com.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Don't worry, we will have time for me to gloat about my ladder challenge pick. I'll find time, but I don't necessarily want to do it right now because it is time for a Monday Soundoff. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open for your calls. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. Will Wade called out Hubert Davis. The Canes offseason is in full speculation mode. And there was a U.S. Open over this past weekend. That's just a few of the topics, right? On a Monday Sound Off, you get to sound off on whatever you want to sound off on. So don't let me put you in a box. We'll start with Corey in Wendell. He wants to sound off on Will Wade, and we want to hear it. Corey, thank you very much for calling in. Go ahead and sound off.
Tim, I appreciate you having me on. It's always a pleasure. I'll say, like I just told Dennis, I want to sound off on that chunk Will Wade. So, listen, man, I get it. I get the move. It's strategic. It gets your name out there. It's clout chasing. But the man hasn't even touched the court yet, and he's talking a lot of junk. And this ain't going to help Lubin's case to get not booed when he comes to Carolina, which will be 2 years from now, which is crazy. But, you know, it just sits with me the wrong way, man. Everybody knows how Hubert is. Hubert's not going to fire back. He's not going to say nothing. He wants to let the talk on the court happen. But to say that in a year that we're only going to play them at home and then act like Lubin was just some superstar with us, listen, I love him, and I wish the best for him. He'll always be a Tar Heel in my eyes. Anybody that comes through there always will be. But I just don't think that the talent that he's looking for, that Will Wade's looking for, that he's trying to put on an NC State team to make a better NC State team, Lubin is not that guy that's going to put them over that hump. Like I said, I feel like he got some improvement to do, and if he can develop him the right way, then maybe. But to think that he's going to say that, and then we're going to go to state and then beat them, and we'll see. The higher you climb on that ladder before the season, the longer the fall is.
I believe Van Allen Lubin has already played 3 years of college. This will be his fourth, so he will not have to go to the Dean Dome because they won't be going there until the next year. So his eligibility will run out before that unless there's some kind of other waivers, and we've seen college sports change. So don't act like it won't happen completely. But he will not have to go to the Dean Dome. What do you think? Right, you're obviously a Tar Heel fan. You watched Van Allen, and you talked about him last year. What do you think is his like ideal role? Right, because I don't think State is going to roll him out there and try to make him their number one option on a whole bunch of plays. Like, what do you think he is used when he's used his best?
Man, I think if you put him on a really good team, he's a good man coming off the bench to provide some energy. Especially if he can use that last year to develop on some of the things he needs to work on, like his handles and being a little bit smarter with the ball. But, I mean, to see him being that elite starter that I think Will Wade thinks he is, I think he might be a little disappointed.
All right, Corey, appreciate the call. Call back in anytime. I do think that's maybe the disconnect. There's a lot of UNC fans thinking, and I'm not calling out Corey specifically, I've seen this elsewhere, that Will Wade somehow said, like, Van Allen Lubin's going to be all conference or something. All he's saying is he's going to play him, at least 28 minutes, and he's going to put up 15 and 8, right? You can be a role player and put up 15 and 8, especially if the guys around you are drawing much of the coverage. I believe Van Allen Lubin made like 70% of his field goals last year for UNC. So it's not like he needs a ton of shots to get to 15 if he's making 70% of his field goals and doesn't take many threes, if any threes. Let's go back to the call-in line. It is a Monday Soundoff. We'd love to hear from all of you. 919-860-5326. Edward in Wendell is up next here. Edward in Wendell, you want to sound off on the U.S. Open, and we want to hear it. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
First of all, Corey was completely wrong.
Okay.
One, how do you know that he's not going to be good if I didn't play him that much? And also, Will Wade's going to talk some trash to support his players and to draw on more recruits. That's just my NC State take.
Okay.
But for my U.S. Open take, I think J.J. Spawn deserves this win. He worked for it. I liked how the short game coach was there. And starting 5 bogeys for the first 6 holes, I think it was.
Yep.
To come back and win was crazy. That was good for him. Sam Burns, that was unfortunate that he got in that water that apparently wasn't standing water. I know that will hurt sometimes, but you got to get it's golf.
It is golf. And there's a life lesson there, Edward, somewhere. It is golf, and you got to deal with the ups and downs. Appreciate the call as always. And I like the spicy NC State defense there right at the beginning. Speaking of J.J. Spawn, he won the U.S. Open. I think it's a $4-point-something million, like, right there check for the weekend. It's not bad 4 days' work. But it also levels him up in so many ways. He jumped from, I think it was 13th or 14th to 3rd in the Ryder Cup standings. If you're top 6, you automatically go to the Ryder Cup. Like, that is a golfer's dream. And in one fell swoop, he went from outside the projections to one of the guaranteed spots, if he can keep it up, right? Still got to play the rest of the way. But that's big. Let's go to, it's our guy, Micah in Morrisville. Heaster Automotive Group hotline is open for your takes on a Monday Soundoff. New time, same idea. You get to call in and drive the conversation. 919-860-5326. We want to hear from all of you. 919-860-5326. Micah in Morrisville is one of our most loyal Canes fans, so I assume he has some off-season Canes takes here. Micah, what do you have for us?
Yeah, first, shout out Edward. Like, this dude amazes me. I don't know how he's so young and knows so much about sports, so shout out to Edward. But, yeah, it is about the Canes. I would just say, like, I'm super excited about the offseason, as everyone is, but they need to, and I've said this over and over again, but they really do need to add grit. And like, I know people can say, yeah, grit doesn't win you like championships, but I mean, that is just not true, because Gadjevich and AJ Greer are on the fourth line of the Panthers, and they're probably about to win the Stanley Cup again. And they're not that good at hockey, but you know what? They're good at being gritty and being ratty and fighting, and they literally get them to the Stanley Cup. I'm not saying that's the main reason they're there, but they are gritty, and they're players like them still in the league for a reason, and the Canes need those players badly.
Well, hold on, Mike. Before you go to your next point, are you referring to, like, there's a lot of speculation that they're big game hunting this offseason, right? They're looking for superstar. Are you saying that you want the superstar that brings grit, or I mean, when you refer to the fourth line, you're saying go get the flashy, skilled superstar and then get a couple of dudes for the fourth line?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. I think we like Mitch Marner. I think would be ideal because of his. Obviously, he can demolish on points, and he'd be good with Aho, but he's also good on defense, which Rod would love. But I'm saying, like, fourth line, like, they need – like, we don't need Jackson Blake on the fourth line. Like, we don't need a player like that on the fourth line. Like, of course, yeah, it looks good, but, like, is it really going to help us win the Stanley Cup? No, I don't think so, honestly. But then the last point is, this is, like, not really about hockey. I know you guys mentioned it, but I was wondering when you're going to do the numbers game where we play you and Dennis. And, yeah, that's all I got.
We need to put it on the schedule officially, but at some point in the summer, right? I think we wait for at least the Stanley Cup final and the NBA finals to be done, and we kind of hit that section of the calendar. But we will put it on the calendar officially at some point.
I believe in August we're looking at Numbers Game Live.
All right, so I don't know if now, because we'll see. We need to have those conversations off air. But thank you very much for reminding us, Micah. That's a good one.
To his question, too, Micah brought up a thing about grit. He mentioned about the Florida Panthers specifically. Is that even their top skill guys do have a level of grittiness to them. That's the thing as well. Like, that's something that I think that actually separates them, is that Matthew Tkachuk isn't afraid to get gritty, isn't afraid to get dirty a little bit. Sam Bennett, Marchand, these guys aren't afraid to get dirty.
Yep.
That's the thing about them that separates them, is like, yeah, they can put up buku points, but they're also not afraid to get to the dirty areas as well.
You also, just to allow that, you need to have crazy depth. Because if you're depending on, like, all of your scoring to come from two or three guys, those two or three guys can't be getting involved in the roughhousing because they're too darn valuable. The Panthers have gotten a lot of scoring from a lot of different places, which has allowed, I think Chuck's more hurt than he's letting on. It's allowed him to kind of quiet up a few times, and they still get the production from elsewhere.
Chuck even said, actually, I think it was yesterday, he said that he wasn't sure if he was going to be ready to go until pregame game one of the first round because he was dealing with that groin injury that he suffered back at the Four Nations. So he said the first round was like hell for him. But now that he's gotten a little bit stronger with it, he's actually feeling a lot better. But that dude's playing hurt right now and still producing.
Yeah, there's a lot of players on the Panthers who are like, I don't root for, but it's like, all right, I guess you got to respect that part of it. Fine.
Let's not forget that 2 years ago when they lost in the Cup Finals, the dude had a broken sternum. He had a cracked sternum and was still playing. He didn't play that last elimination game, but he was helping getting dressed in the locker room by other guys.
You can be recklessly tough and mildly annoying at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Both can be true.
Yeah. Marchand, you can be playing at a ridiculous level and also mildly annoying, or more so. So I feel you on that one. By the way, a bunch of lines just opened up. Heister Automotive Group Hotline, 919-860-5326. So if you were calling in and not getting through, we'd love to hear from you, or you want to call in for the first time. Heister Automotive Group Hotline, 919-860-5326. It is a segment we call Monday Sound Off, and we call it that because we want you to sound off on whatever's grinding your gears or whatever you think needs a little extra highlighting. 919-860-5326. Pat in Durham is up next on a Monday Sound Off. It says here you want to sound off on golf. So let's hear it. What do you want to say?
Yeah. Two or three things, but the first one is I think Wade will probably sell out the first home game there. I don't know, but that's a good feeling. And secondly, on golf, I mean, congratulations to the guy. And it's almost like the golf gods just smiled at him when the guy was hitting a putt that was about a foot behind him on the same line. But I got to congratulate the fellow for the stones to hit the longest putt of the U.S. Open on the final. I mean, talking about a great ending. And second, and also I have a question for y'all.
Okay.
Over and under 1.5 years for Belichick, because Miami and probably but Tampa Bay will open up next year.
Okay, you're talking Dolphins open up. Got you.
Yeah, and the last thing is, Blake made it from the farm all the way up to the major, up to the Hurricanes, and if possible, after all the draft is done, we hear about assets and this and that, but it'd be nice to hear what from somebody that knows the farm system, who the Canes really have, who their hot shots are, and how they're rated. And, should we be pulling from the farm, or should we go out and get some overpaid, overpaid
free agents and trade.
You're going to have to overpay for whoever you get.
Okay.
Now.
All right.
That's just, to hear somebody talk about the farm system and who they have in the wings, because Blake just came out of nowhere, and I think that was a really great find.
All right, I appreciate it. I wrote down all of your takes, so we will address them quickly here one by one. But thank you very much for calling in. So here's where, well, first of all, you're talking about the Victor Hovland putt. Victor Hovland Hovland, whatever you pronounce it, was about 2 feet behind J.J. Spawn for the putt that he made from 64 feet to win the whole thing. And Hovland actually put a really good putt on it and came close enough. He knew he had to birdie, and then Spawn would have to bogey in order for him to enter into a playoff. So he went for it, put a really good putt on it, and essentially showed Spawn the line. As somebody that had multiple bets on Victor Hovland, I know everything that took place on that putt, and it's messed up. But it made for a really cool moment for Spawn. Over under 1.5 years for Belichick, I'm taking the over. I think 2 is kind of the minimum. I don't know if an NFL team is going to be interested, particularly for age. Every year he's getting older. I just don't know if the Dolphins or whoever are going to come asking for him. Dennis, would you go over under 1.5 years for Belichick in Chapel Hill?
I'll take the over.
Yeah, I would too. And then as far as Jackson Blake kind of coming out of nowhere, Jackson Blake, I don't think necessarily if you're a casual fan or you just watch the Canes, you could be a diehard Canes fan if you're not somebody that's interested in prospects and what's going on in the AHL or the ECHL or the NHL draft. You may have thought that Jackson Blake kind of came out of nowhere. He was one of their really good prospects. If you go back and listen to our show before this season, I kind of thought there was one spot in the lineup for a rookie forward, and there were 3 forwards vying for it, one of them being Felix Unger-Sorum, who 2 training camps ago really impressed. One was Jackson Blake and one was Bradley Nadeau. Ended up being Jackson Blake, and he pretty much kept that spot in the lineup the entire season. As far as prospects in the pipeline now, seems crazy, but Alexander Nikishin and Scott Morrow are still technically prospects. They will be rookies this upcoming year if they're playing in the NHL. Bradley Nadeau, same player. Felix Unger-Sorum, same player. They have some guys. Even now I'm going to blank on his name. Who was the draft pick last year that they took some summer high on? He's a defenseman. That's going to frustrate the heck out of me. But they have basically they're ranked like 10 to 12 as far as prospect lists in the NHL. So they have some dudes, but with any promotion, there comes like a baking period. So if the Canes want somebody to make a difference like this year, next year, probably going to have to go buy that or trade for that. Even if you bring up a Nadeau, you're not going to expect them to be playing top 6 forward minutes. And Jackson Blake probably ideally you wouldn't have playing top 6 forward minutes. So there's I would say go buy it if that's what your question was. John in Wake Forest wants to sound off on the Canes, so let's go right into it. Stay on the topic. The phone lines are open, by the way, 919-860-5326, Heister Automotive Group hotline. For your takes on a Monday sound off, John in Wake Forest, go ahead and sound off on the Canes. We'd love to hear it.
What's going on, man? So I listened to Micah's call earlier, and I agree with him We definitely need some grit, but I don't think grit is everything. I think we've got to get a little bit more size, especially up the middle. Yeah, sure, KK's big, but KK's not very good, and we've all seen that. In my opinion, I think you got to get somebody big, or hear me out. If Sam Bennett is an inkling of an option, you go get him before you get Mitch Marner, 100%, in my opinion. And then on the defense, I think we should go after Aaron Ekblad.
Okay, so you're shopping at the late parts of the postseason is what you're
Yes.
shopping in.
Yes.
Sam Bennett, John, by the way, appreciate the call, and I like the size add-on there. So we'll have a quick conversation on that one, but I do appreciate the call. Call back in anytime. Sam Bennett is one that I think every team with free agency cash is getting excited about, and I think prior to July 1st, you're going to be bummed out when Florida announces that there's a 8x8 or something coming his way.
Might be 8 times 8 to keep him.
I've heard, right, and that means I've read insider reports and tweets and things that they were hoping to get him on a similar deal to Verhaeghe, which is like I think $7 million by 8 years, and that may have been where the conversations were coming into the postseason. Guess what? The postseason that Sam Bennett just had, yesterday's price is not today's price, right? If you wanted him at that dollar amount, you would have had to do it before, because now he's what does he have, like 100,000 points in this postseason?
I think maybe 1,001 now,
and more than that, even a couple of kind of the intangible plays that lead to big plays. So I wouldn't get too excited about Sam Bennett because I don't think he's going to hit the open market.
It's 15 goals this postseason.
I mean, there's
unreal.
There's a lot of graphics that get put up during games, which it's like Mario Lemieux, Sidney Crosby, Wayne Gretzky, Brad Marchand. And then it's like the next one is Jaromir Jagr, Wayne Gretzky, Sam Bennett's this year's run. Like those two dudes are just they're doing a lot that I don't know. I wouldn't have expected them to do, and that's a compliment for them. So their prices, by the way, are going up. And have you seen that the rumor is for Marchand? Like, again, rumors. It's just a straight dollar bidding. He doesn't care where he goes. He doesn't care if the team can compete. He just wants to go to whoever gives him the most cash. And then he's putting together the offseason or the postseason that he's putting together now. That's called upping the price. And I think there's going to be a lot of teams that want kind of the winning glow that comes with these teams. I get it. And John, that's why I kind of made the joke to John, like, oh, you're shopping in the later parts of the postseason. I do my best to not get too infatuated with just like really good postseason runs. Because if you look through history, there's so many examples of guys going on a great postseason run, holding a trophy, and this goes across all sports, holding a trophy and then getting paid way more than they deserve. Or you could say what they deserve based on that run, but way more than they're worth moving forward. And usually I like the team that benefited from the trophy run to be the one overpaying, right? The Joe Flacco and Ravens thing, like he went on an unbelievable run, won a Super Bowl, then the Ravens overpaid him for the next like 6 years. And if another team had done that, they would have just been bummed. But the Ravens kind of go, well, he won us a Super Bowl, so it all makes sense. If Sam Bennett, this run he's on, makes his price go a handful higher than it should, I'd kind of rather the Panthers have to pay that because at least they got the benefit of potentially back-to-back cups, potentially, because we obviously don't know if they'll win it this year. But I don't like overpaying other teams' playoff stars. I don't love it.
But here's the thing. Florida can keep him, like Sam Bennett. Florida can keep Ekblad. They definitely can keep both those guys. Because honestly, you can go 8x8 for Sam Bennett, which you can easily do. You can go probably the same amount, 8x8 for Aaron Ekblad. Because if you can put in the contracts, hey, no movement clause for the first 5 years. We can't trade you, can't send you through waivers, can't buy out, whatever it is. Then guess what? That's tax-free money down in the state of Florida. And that extra 8th year is a valuable thing to a lot of guys.
Have you been talking to Paul Bissonnette?
I clearly. But it's true. So in terms of getting size and up front, someone that can score, I mean, again, I'll say it again. Everything you mentioned is just Tage Thompson. And you want size up front, a guy that can play center in your top 6, it could score, and has all the size, everything you talk about, right-handed shot as well. It's Tage Thompson from Buffalo. What's it going to cost to go get that guy?
I still don't. I have seen, and maybe it's because I've said it out loud on the show a few times, and right, the phones and everything are always listening. I have seen more rumors that Buffalo is considering not just. I mean, actually, I haven't seen much with Tage Thompson, but selling other kind of win now parts of their
Alex
team.
Tuck would love that,
and just some rumors there. I still don't. I think they give it one more run. Tage Thompson might be a guy available at the trade deadline, maybe not at the postseason or at the off season, but available after the wheels fall off for Buffalo one more time. But yeah, I mean, we've had this a bunch of times, and we're going to say it again and again and again. Everything is on the table for the Canes right now. Everything. Because they have money, they can overpay if they want. Everything is on the table. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll shut the phone lines down there for a little Monday sound off. And we will update you. Gage Wood, Arkansas pitcher, out there at the Men's College World Series. It's an elimination game, Arkansas against Murray State.
He's got the no-no going.
Did he end up walking somebody?
No, he actually hit by pitch, like a breaking ball right on the back foot of a player back in the 8th inning. So he lost he lost the perfect game that way, but he's one out in the bottom of the 9th. He's at 114 pitches.
17 strikeouts.
It's insane. If this holds on, it'll be the third no-hitter in College World Series history.
Did the batter give it any effort to get out of the way?
Kind of ish. There's another strikeout for you. So that's 18 Ks now?
18 Ks, Goodness. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. He is 1 out away from a no-no in an elimination game in Omaha for the College Baseball World Series. Goodness gracious. And a hit by pitch, was it in the 9th or was it in the 8th? It was in the 8th?
Yeah, it was in the 8th inning.
Man. Goodness gracious. He is intense as heck. He looks like a linebacker out there. He is.
He kind of looks like Logan Stankoven.
A little bit. Yeah. Actually, yeah, a little bit. Listen, we're going to take a break here. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. When we come back, we will let you know if Gage Wood pulls it off. And Nicolaj Ehlers. We just talked a lot of Canes potential. He seems to be one of the flavors of the day. Everyone wants to talk about Nicolaj Ehlers. Do you want him? Should you go get him? Should the Canes get him? Well, do you want him? We'll give you our thoughts coming up next. Don't go anywhere. It's Men's Health Month, and Wake Med wants to remind you to protect your skin to reduce your risk for skin cancer, sunburn, and premature skin aging. For any exposed skin, sunscreen should be worn. It should be broad spectrum to fight UVA and UVB rays, an SPF of 30 or higher, and be water resistant. Apply sunscreen 15 minutes prior to exposure and every 2 hours. So whether you are headed out to mow the lawn or to get in 18 holes, make sure you are covered, literally. For more information, visit wakemed.org.
Is your heating and air system ready for the changing season? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your independent trained dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Are you ready for a global summer showdown? Sunday, June 22nd at Bank of America Stadium. Football legends collide at the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. Real Madrid and Pachuca. Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham taking on Elias Montiel and Solomon Rondon. Don't miss your chance to be part of history. Grab your tickets now at FIFA.com/tickets.
A pepperoni pizza for the table. May I suggest trying it with our Pepsi Zero Sugar? It has just the right amount of sweetness to complement all that cheesy, saucy goodness. Simply divine.
Pepsi Zero Sugar? You've really outdone yourself this time.
Pizza deserves Pepsi.
Handy Hugo's has a refreshing deal. 2 1-liter Pepsis for just $3. Quench your thirst at Handy Hugo's today.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. T&Cs apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We've never done a later in the show addition to the Dean's List, but I think we should. Gage Wood, Arkansas's pitcher. Yeah, we'll take a little extra credit for Gage Wood here. Arkansas pitcher at the Men's College World Series just threw the third no-hitter in Men's College World Series history. I'm not sure why, but now he's giving a hug to somebody on the Murray State side. Just no, here's a hug. 119 pitches, 9 innings, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, obviously. 19 strikeouts. In the 8th inning, hit 1 batter. That's the only difference between what Gage Wood just did in a perfecto. He looks pretty jacked up. That's pretty darn cool.
Only got to reach base was a hit by pitch in the 8th.
That's and by the way, shout out to Murray State, one of the great Cinderella stories of the postseason for baseball. Their season just came to an end in really bummer fashion. At least there's no one there's no finger pointing. None of you could hit them. It's not like somebody kept getting left on second base. They got no-no'd. Wonder if Gage Wood's gonna be available the rest of the postseason. Coach, my arm. 119 pretty aggressive pitches. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Simple question for Canes fans out there. You want Nicolaj Ehlers? Do you? Do you want Nicolaj Ehlers? Real simple question, right? Nah, maybe not. And the reason why I say maybe not, coming off Winnipeg had a great season. He was a part of it. They have a solid roster. He was a part of it, had not the best season of his career this past year, but was nearly a point per game. 69 games, finished with 63 points, 24 goals.
Nice.
There it is. I don't want to disrespect Ehlers here because I do think he is a very good player. I'd be disappointed if he is the big fish addition for the Canes this offseason. It does feel like we're going and right, the free agency doesn't open until next month, July 1. Trades obviously take time for things to come together. I wouldn't expect anything like super soon, but could be crazy. I don't want to disrespect Nicolaj Ehlers. I'd be disappointed simply because I think the Canes have Nicolaj Ehlers. Is that a term? What's the plural of Ehlers? Nicolajs. I think they have players like this. He's never had a 30-goal season. He's topped out at 64 points. He's had a couple seasons where he's flirted with a point per game but never quite gotten there. I don't love that as your big fish. If it's reasonable salary and he's your second or third biggest addition, then okay. Right, then you're bringing in another good player, a player you can trust, somebody that knocks a bunch of other guys further down the pecking order, and it improves kind of everybody below you on the lineup. I think that's good, but I'm not going to be excited by Ehlers until you tell me one of the other kind of soup du jours has been signed. Right, if you tell me Mitch Marner and Ehlers, I can maybe wrap my mind around that. If you tell me something like Tage Thompson and Ehlers, I can wrap my mind around that. If you tell me there's some other bigger centerpiece and then you're looking to Ehlers to be the side dish, now we can get excited. Elliot Friedman talked about Ehlers and his ability to potentially be available and what his wants and needs might be based on what teams want to go ahead and pay him.
A team that's looking on the wing says, all right, we're not in the Marner game or we don't have a shot at Marner. We're just going right to Ehlers. And as I've said to Ehlers before, I think with him, it's a mixture of he wants to be on a really good team with opportunity. Like Winnipeg is a really good team, but I think the issue around the Jets has always been top line opportunity.
Here's my advice to Ehlers and Ehlers' agent. Wait till Marner signs. I think there are a handful of teams, Canes amongst them, that are in on Marner. Okay? And I think at least one of them might do something foolish after seeing Marner sign elsewhere. And if you have the next or one of the next best wingers on the market after someone is panicking for not getting Marner, that's where you can, right? If you're an agent, your goal is to get your client overpaid, right? That's where you can get a little bit of an overpay. Which is, I think, part of the reason why I maybe wouldn't be the most excited for an Ehlers signing until I see something else bigger happening. Because, multiple insiders have said that, matter of fact, we'll play Elliot Friedman here in a second. Multiple insiders have said that the Hurricanes are definitely going to be going after Mitch Marner. To have all of that come out and then not end up with Marner but end up with Ehlers feels very much like you missed on your first option and ended up with your third or fourth. You settled, right? And that's, for better or worse, not going to get the fan base excited. Here's Friedman on the Canes definitely going after Marner.
I think they absolutely want to be in the Marner game. No question about it. Zero doubt. I know some of his teammates have suspected, the Leaf teammates have suspected that Marner's going to go west, but that doesn't mean you don't try.
Doesn't mean you don't try. West, what does that mean? Vegas?
Vegas has been mentioned quite a bit with Mitch Marner as well. Some people were floating around Anaheim possibly. I don't see that at all.
Anaheim. See, both of those, I just don't think it's as ready-made puzzle fit as the Canes. But either way, the all-in nature, it seems, on Marner for the Canes does make other wingers outside of other superstar wingers feel kind of secondary. Feel like, oh, we missed on Marner, so here, yeah, sure, let's talk to your client, and that's not how you love it. Also, if you're gonna go winger as one of your big purchases, one of your big resource expenditures, right? Whether you're sending picks and players and prospects in a trade or whether you're using a fat percentage of your cap, if you're gonna go winger, I think you should be top shelf. I think you should be, at the premium end. Because if you're gonna settle for a center. Please settle for a center, because that's more of a need. Dennis, you've I don't even know if you've said it on air as much as you've said it off air, but the Canes are kind of bloated with middle six wingers.
They are. I've said it on air. They're stacked with middle six wingers.
So you can get by there a little bit. I think you need centers, right? Especially if you move on from Kotkaniemi, which everybody seems to be very aggressive in doing or in wanting to do. So, if you're going to go Marner, I get it, right? If you're going to go for a winger like a Gensel or a Mikko Rantanen, right? Swings you've taken in the past, and they are that kind of a difference maker, I'm with it, right? I'm good. But if you're not going to get your number one choices, if you're not going to get the super duper stars, if you're not going to get the Marner or whoever your dream winger is, Robertson, if you're not going to get your dream, I think you then pepper the field with centers rather than going for guys like Ehlers. Go all in for Tage Thompson, right? Go all in for one of those guys rather than settling for your third or fourth choice at winger. That's kind of where I'm at right now. And be ready for the roller coaster of Mitch Marner. I don't know. It could be him. There's some people, and I didn't know this because I don't pay attention to Toronto a ton. He might have some Natchez in him. And what I mean by that is people seem to think that his dad is making a lot of decisions and that he maybe speaks cryptically with organizations and things and has certain goals that he wants for himself maybe that he values highly in his priorities. At least that's how some Toronto fans talk about him. Okay. The free agency period for Mitch Marner may be fairly drama-filled. So don't settle until you know Mitch isn't coming to Carolina because he may just like the drama of it all, right? I guess, and this is, by the way, Toronto is scorned right now, especially because he exercised his no-trade clause at the no-movement clause at the deadline, and now he's obviously not going to re-sign with Toronto, which bums them out because they're like, you could have at least helped us get something back at the deadline rather than leaving for nothing now. So they're a bit scorned. So consider the source. Take it with a grain of salt. Toronto fans seem to think he's the kind of guy that, like, if he were committing in college football to a school, he would put on the rival's hat first, then throw it to the side. Then he would put on it the hat of his, somebody else's favorite. Then he'd throw it to the side. Then he'd stand up and take off the hoodie, and it would have one team. And then he'd rip that off like he's Cam Newton, and it would have the Superman. And the cape would actually be the school that he's committing to. Like he likes the drama of it all. So be ready for the roundup. Elliot Friedman here on Mitch Marner. May not sign on July 1st. He may take a little bit of a tour to a bunch of different cities.
It sounds like there's the possibility, and again, there's still 2.5 weeks to go here, so who knows where this is all going to end up. But it sounds like the possibility that exists that this may not be a July 1st thing, that Marner's choice could be to set up Zoom or, if teams want, in-person meetings on July 1st or right after. And then maybe he goes and visits one or two places.
The visits, if it takes a while, the hard part about free agency is, like, if you maybe the Canes are actually at a huge advantage here amongst the others with big free agency stockpiles or cap space. $14 million is not easy, and if that's the assumed price for Mitch Marner, there's going to be a bunch of teams that can't make moves if they think they're in the Mitch Marner race until Mitch Marner makes a decision. So, right, like I said earlier, it does feel like this NHL offseason is very much in the Braveheart move. Like, hold, right? Like every fan base, especially the Canes, are ready for, like, reactions to big moves. And did we get the guy? It might even hit July 1st and everybody's still like, hold. Because until the big dominoes make their decisions, a lot of the smaller moves can't happen because teams have to keep cap space open. The Canes, even if you're earmarking $14 million for Marner, can still go spend, like $14 million, which maybe allows them to steal a couple guys early in free agency before the big dominoes start to fall.
There's a lot that's going to be at play here in the next couple of weeks. Do you make a trade between now and July 1st? Mm-hmm. That's going to impact what you're going to do once July 1st actually hits. I mean, there's so much that's at play.
We were talking about it off air. If Marner does want to go to Vegas and Vegas wants him, that might have to be some kind of a sign-in trade because Vegas has a tough cap situation. They might need to offload some to make it possible. Would Toronto do a solid / would there be enough coming in return from Vegas to make it worth their while? It becomes very, very confusing.
I think if Carolina can get their 2026 third-round pick back from the Washington Capitals, that was part of the Evgeny Kuznetsov trade, then they can use that now that they have their own third-round pick back. Now they can go offer sheet Matty Nyes from Toronto. Take him instead.
You wanted Matty Nyes for a long time now.
I do. I want Matty Nyes. But until they get their third-round pick back from Washington, they can't really offer sheet him unless that offer sheet is of $11.7 million or more per year.
And then it's $1 billion first-round picks, right?
That's 4 first-round picks over the next 5 years, which they have, obviously, because then you obviously have the 2 that you picked up from Dallas, which helps soften that blow.
It's a lot of first-round picks.
That's basically you're giving 4 first-round picks for a guy.
For the right to pay them a boatload of money.
Yeah, now granted, Toronto can match that offer sheet and it's all for nothing, but still, it's a possibility.
Offer sheets are a fun little side project to think about.
I am for more offer sheets being signed in the NHL.
They don't happen that often, but they are really fun to think about. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan.
Matty Knives and Tage Thompson make it happen, Eric Tolsky.
Both of them. That's what you want.
Of course.
Both. I'm kind of coming around on Tage, but the issue is I want Robertson, and Tage would also – they'd both require a ton of trade capital. You kind of have to go – you have to go like one in free agency and then one in trade, and they'd both be trade. So I think I'm still Robertson over Thompson, but I do the center aspect. I could be talked into it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Dennis has some info for you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, you might be maxed out on credit cards. Maybe you're struggling with that high-interest debt. You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a massive turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. Listen. Your home equity is yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto is A+ rated by the BBB and have nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Their service, it's off the charts. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, heads to the starting five, including Olympic hockey rosters. The first 6 for each country announced. Stick around.
Champions are crowned on 99.9 The Fan.
Gildas Alexander squares, fires, hits, and Oklahoma City takes the lead.
Basketball tonight. Indiana, Oklahoma City, the NBA Finals.
SGA will try a 3, and it's good.
Game 5. Tip-off at 8:30 on your audio home for the NBA Finals. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
The Thunder have evened the NBA Finals at 2 games apiece.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Discover the thrill of precision and elegance with Omega. From the depths of the ocean to the heights of space, Omega's Seamaster and Speedmaster collections are crafted for those who dare to explore. With a heritage rooted in innovation and a timeless style inspired by sports, space, and cinematic legends, Omega is made for every adventure. Find your perfect watch at Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Voted Best Jeweler. Learn more at BaileyBox.com.
Struggling to get the sleep treatment you need? I'm Megan Giggling, General Manager of Parkway Sleep Health Centers. You shouldn't have to wait for better sleep. Our streamlined process provides for sleep studies, CPAP machines, and supplies, without the long delays you'll find at other sleep centers. At Parkway Sleep, we'll help you get good rest faster and with the care you deserve.
With over 20 years of experience, join countless satisfied customers who have discovered the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit us today at parkwaysleep.com. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. We still have the potential for some flooding at least through 2 a.m. That's when our flood watch expires, so showers and storms are likely into the evening, 73 the low. A chance for a few thunderstorms tomorrow. Should be lesser coverage. It's hot. Our high at 93.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell, up 317 points today to 42,515.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting five. The starting five is brought to you by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com. That's RICCI law.com. The starting five, as always, starts with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right, well, I feel like we're
Kind of let the beat drop for you, Tim.
We're creeping around a little bit.
We are a little bit.
It's like a Pink Panther song. The Olympic hockey, obviously the Olympics aren't till 2026, and there's a whole deal going on there, right? The Winter Olympics. But the rosters for the hockey teams that have qualified are going to start being put together, and all of the participating countries announced the first 6 members of their hockey rosters, and there's some Canes connections here, so I thought we'd touch on them. First of all, Finland, not surprised, but Sebastian Aho amongst the first 6 named. He was amongst the first 6 named for Finland going into the Four Nations, and he is once again. The more interesting part is, I think this is where most fans are going to go, Mikko Rantanen was also named. Not a surprise, but you do have to wonder, do you think their relationship changed at all based on what happened in Carolina? Do you think they're able to completely remove NHL interactions from personal relationships and or country? I don't even know. I hope, like, this is where I put on, like, my adult personality and remove the childishness that comes with being a sports fan. I hope they're still friends. They grew up playing in juniors and stuff together, and they're 2 of the best hockey players from their country, and they get the cool opportunity to play alongside each other in things like the Olympics. Like, I hope, Mikko Rantanen kind of misplaying a trade situation doesn't ruin a friendship. That being said, I don't have to be friends with Mikko. I can be petty. That's where the childishness comes in. Freddie Anderson in goal is playing for Denmark in the Olympics, one of the first 6 mentioned. I have one thing written down 3 times in my notes for Freddie with Denmark. Just stay healthy. Just stay healthy. Just stay healthy. I'm glad that you get the opportunity. It's a huge honor to represent your country, as I've talked about. I'm glad that you'll be testing yourself against some of the best. I'm happy for you. Please stay healthy. Please stay healthy. There was a point in time, I forget when like NBA owners were going to start trying to work into contracts and stuff that their players couldn't go play in the Olympics because they're like, why would I'm paying you $50 million a year. Why would I let you go get hurt for free on some international tournament because somebody from a small country wants to make a name for themselves? That didn't go over well publicly, so they backed down on it, but I don't know. Does Denmark have a chance? What are the odds here? No? I'm getting the no?
None.
Then just stay healthy. Just stay healthy. Just stay healthy. And then lastly, Team USA did put out their 6. It's a couple of Kachucks, Matthew and Brady, Austin Matthews, Jack Eichel, Quinn Hughes. Here's the one that people are going to get a little bent out of shape about. Defenseman Charlie McAvoy, meaning not Jacob Slavin. Do you have thoughts on the subject, Dennis? Charlie McAvoy?
Yes, because he plays for the Boston Bruins, and that's, the thing. Now, he got hurt in the Four Nations, by the way. Charlie McAvoy did.
Yes, and it was a very...
like a bad shoulder injury.
There was a lot going on there. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's like, hey, you risked your body for us. We'll do you a solid this time.
Hey, you've already sacrificed for us here. We're going to make you one of the top 6.
I think I know how this is going to go for Jacob Slavin. I'm going to call this the Slavin way. He'll make the full roster, and then he'll lead the team in time on ice. And it'll be like,
right.
Not being picked in the top 6, but you played him 26 minutes a game. Like, it'll be something like that, because Slavin's respect, we talk about it. Everybody does. It's not always there. But when it comes to, like, who you think is going to help you win, coaches always play the guy a lot. And that's, by the way, basically him and Faber played a ton at the Four Nations Cup, and I expect the same to happen again.
So one thing that's interesting about Olympic hockey rosters that's different than even the Four Nations or the NHL is that in a game you dress 18 skaters, in the Olympics you dress 20.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a 13th forward and a 7th defenseman will dress. So you can have, for example, just like a forward that, hey, the only thing he's got to do is go out there and take face-off and kill penalties. That's it. Or a defenseman that, hey, we just need you to either kill penalties or just play on the power play for all 2 minutes. Like, you might have some of those guys that are just built for situations. So you can actually get an extra guy or extra couple guys playing during the course of the game, which is super helpful.
Even if you are an exceptional and you're there as like a penalty kill specialist, I still think you might play Slavin on the penalty kill anyway.
Oh, no, for sure. For sure. But I'm
here only to kill penalties. And Slavin's like, yeah, but on 22 minutes of tired, I'm still better at it than you.
But that could be like a role. Like, we saw Seth Jarvis make the Four Nations, and there was actually one game where he was scratched, but he wouldn't have to be scratched in that situation.
And I think Jarvis probably will make it for
I think
Team
he
Canada,
should.
especially with 20. And that's just, by the way, everybody that goes there, outside of like Freddie, just stay healthy. Everybody that goes there, I think, benefits from it. I think playing in those high-level, different matchups, it can't hurt you. As long as you stay healthy, stay healthy. That's number 5. Let's hit number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together. What?
Is it me? Or are GMs across professional sports getting more bold? It seems like for, I don't know, like the 90s and most of the 2000s, like if you're going to trade a superstar, you leak it. You almost get the public reaction first. You make sure every team in the league knows that this player could potentially be for sale. You go back and forth 100 times, and then usually you end up not even selling them, right? How many times did we hear, like, Tim Duncan's going to the Magic, and it never happens, right? Like, Tom Brady's going to be traded, and it never happens, although he did end up leaving eventually. Just in the last, 24, 48 hours, Rafael Devers was traded from the Red Sox to the Giants for like a hodgepodge of players and prospects. Left-handed pitcher Kyle Harrison, right-handed pitcher Jordan Hicks, a couple of prospects in James Tibbs and Jose Bayo. He's still owed $300 million. I saw Clayton Kershaw was interviewed during the game last night. He called Devers one of the top 10 hitters in the game, and then he said at worst. Those players don't get traded that often. And then, just a little bit before that, Desmond Bain was traded from the Grizzlies to the Magic. In return, the Grizzlies received Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and 1 first-round pick swap. That is the Magic saying Desmond Bain, and I'm not disrespecting Desmond Bain, but he's not, Luka. They're saying like Desmond Bain is the thing that keeps us from winning an NBA championship. You don't trade that much if you don't think that's the piece that puts you over the top. These GMs are getting more bold, man. And I think it might go back to although the Boston one wouldn't make sense with this. I think it goes back to what I was saying a couple of weeks ago, which is I think most of these front offices know if they don't win in like 3 or 4 years at the longest, or show dramatic improvement in a rebuild in 3 or 4 years, you're gone anyway. So yeah, here's 4 first-round picks and a pick swap for Desmond Bain. If it doesn't work, the next GM is going to have to get themselves out of this anyway. And they'll probably take over and sell Bain and Paolo and everybody else and get all their picks back to start over anyway. So I don't know. Those are two big trades. And the Luka trade and, heck, even the Mikko Rantanen trades that the Carolina Hurricanes were a part of. Those are two massive in-season trades. GMs are getting bold. Crazy. That's number 4 of the starting 5, brought to you by Ritchie Law Firm. Injury lawyers, Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com. Here's number 3. The U.S. Open concluded yesterday. J.J. Spaun winning his first major championship. Ended up being by 2 strokes. He was the only player under par, 1 under par. But he birdied the last when all he needed to do was 2-putt to win. So he was ahead by a stroke. He was even. Everybody, a couple guys, I believe, ended up at 1 over par. First, let's hear from J.J. Spaun on what it feels like for the player to have a career-changing win like that, what it feels like to win the U.S. Open.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like a storybook fairy tale ending. Kind of the underdog, fighting back, not giving up, never quitting. With the rain and everything, and then the putt. I mean, it's just, you couldn't write a better story. And I'm just so fortunate to be on the receiving end of that.
So here's the thing. There was carnage on Sunday on the course. John Rahm, I'm going to just I don't know. This is the only way I can tell the point I'm trying to make. John Rahm finished essentially like 6.5 hours before Spaun finished to win. And he posted a 4 over par final score. There was a point after Rahm got off the course. There's a rain delay. The course got much tougher with the weather, pouring rain, caddies holding umbrellas over guys as much as they could. And there were people going like, Rahm might want, because Rahm did it, he won a past interview, right? So he was at home. He was 6 hours, he got on his private jet. He was like, I didn't win, right? The leaders at the time were like, 3-4 under. He was 4 over. So he finishes, he bounces. There are people saying like, I think Rahm might want to get on a plane and come back. 4 over might get him into a playoff because everybody was doubling. Everybody was bogeying. The course was winning down the stretch. And it didn't end up happening. Like we said, the winning score ended up being 1 under. But it was that kind of ugly. Guys were falling apart there at the end, and the course was showing its teeth. Oakmont is notorious as one of, if not the hardest U.S. Open venue, and it maybe wasn't doing that as much early on in the week. But Sunday, man, you threw a little extra rain on there. It did not look fun. And I did see the, I think it was Golf Digest or Golf Network has right now one of their journalists who is essentially a scratch golfer who's going out to play Oakmont today just to show everybody, what it does to a scratch golfer is for most of us the best golfer we know, right? It's the guy who hustles people at the course. Scratch is tough. They set the over-under at 93.5. So the course fought back in a big way. And J.J. Spaun on the back 9 kind of slayed that beast. Front 9, he got eaten alive. I believe he is the first golfer since at least 2003 to win a major after posting a 40 or worse on the front 9 on Sunday. He went 40-32, which is like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of it, like a pitcher giving up 8 earned runs in the first 4 innings and then throwing perfect game from the last 5. It's that kind of a glow up for him, and he won the U.S. Open. Now, Ryder Cup looks strong for him. Obviously, he gets invites to every tournament. He's now one of the top guys in the world golf rankings. Truly life-changing win for J.J. Spaun, and $4-something million. That
was a 4.3, I think.
Yeah,
kind of nice.
He'll have to give 430 of that to his caddy.
Oh no!
Imagine that. $430K. You didn't have to take a single golf shot.
I know, for real. All I had to do was just hand you a club and hold an umbrella for you. All right, I'm in.
I'll do it.
I'll see you next year.
All right, let's move on. There's a joke I was going to make there, but nope. That's number 3. Let's hit number 2.
Just the two of us. Let's do that hockey.
Florida. The Panthers takes a 3-2 lead in the Stanley Cup final. Dennis, where does this stand? I know at the beginning you kind of painted out the whole thing. Is this still on track for your predictions?
No, it's not. It would have stood perfectly if I said the Florida Panthers would split games 1 and 2 as well as games 3 and 4 and then win game 5
So you had
and then win game 6. No.
Oh, you had Edmonton winning in 6.
I had Edmonton winning in 6, so no, this is not
I was
track
thinking
for
you
me.
had them in 7.
But hey, you know what? If we get a game 7 as a result up in Edmonton, that'd be pretty awesome. I just want to see a game 7, to be honest.
Oh, of course.
Even though my prediction was not 7 games, I want to see 7 games.
Of course. I mean, game 7s would be unheard of. Edmonton has 2 wins, both by the hair on their chinny chin chin.
Both overtime.
And one, they had to come back from 3-0 early. It is one of those series where if you totaled up like this were a boxing match and you're looking at each period as a round, Florida's won a lot of rounds, right? They're winning on the cards in a big way. Edmonton has some well-placed runs that allowed them to almost steal 2. But outside of McDavid and Draisaitl going superhuman, what's the path for Edmonton to not only tie the series up, but kind of do the improbable and win both? Because Florida's been, I mean, again, I don't have to like saying it. They've been the better team throughout the series.
Yeah.
And there is still, like, you know, Edmonton has this really, really good, like, piece of ammunition, which is, like, McDavid and Draisaitl can go supernova. But outside of that, it appears like Florida's getting the better of them in most ways. I think
Edmonton has to lean on the fact that last year they were down 3-0 in that series and pushed it all the way to a game 7.
Yes, they
It's
did.
like, hey, you know what? Even though you're on the brink of elimination, you can win because you've done it. You've proven that to yourself already. I think Edmonton is missing Zach Hyman tremendously, who is a big net front presence for them and plays alongside McDavid and alongside Draisaitl at times, which takes up a ton of space in the middle, which allows more space for McDavid and those guys to operate, so they're missing that guy tremendously. But I think that Edmonton can lean on the fact that, hey, you've done this before, and I guess they go back to Stuart Skinner for Game 6. The goaltending situation is a little bit up in the air as well.
It's kind of absurd that they're this far and don't, like, if everyone's healthy, don't know who their goalie is going to be. I made the joke a few times, half joke, that like Jalen Chatfield showed his worth by how the Canes looked after he went down with the injury in the postseason. Hyman similarly, like if I'm his agent and you could like hold out for more money like this offseason, did you see what they look like without him? I also don't want to do that to take away from the Panthers in both scenarios. Like, I'm as big of a Chatfield fan as there is. I really like Zach Hyman from the player's perspective. I'm not sure. I mean, they'd have to really change the series to change the outcomes of some of these games. That's number 2. What's it? Number 1.
Go one!
Got him!
NBA Finals Game 5 tonight. What kind of game is it, Dennis?
One that you can listen to here on The Fan.
There you go. That's one of them.
But it's pivotal.
There it is.
It's pivotal, Tim.
Pivotal Game 5. Game 5s might be the only one I agree with the cliche. In a 7-game series, Game 5, if it's 2-2, it does feel pivotal. All the previous pivotal games, everybody wants to throw the word pivotal on. I don't really believe. But if it's 2-2, Game 5 does feel pivotal. It felt like a pivotal win for the Florida Panthers. Whoever wins this one, it does feel like it'll be a pivotal win. This is where I'm at with the NBA Finals. Someone is going to come out of this finals in the NBA as a leveled up superstar, right? It gives them the clap back to the things that people trash them for. Tyrese Haliburton, if the Pacers win, gets to rub it in everyone's faces and say the way he leads and his style can lead a championship team, right? And he gets knocked for his style of play a decent amount. If the Thunder win, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander gets to say kind of, you know, even though he's in some very annoying commercials, and he likes, dealing with fashion, walking into the tunnel, that he does have kind of the killer instinct necessary to lead a team to an NBA championship. The other, right, one of those is going to win and is going to have the ultimate clapback, and you're not going to be able to talk to them because they got the ring. The other is going to have to answer those questions for at least another year, and that's not very fun for them. That one ring, particularly for both of these guys, because they didn't go form a super team. I know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander moved teams, but he was a part of a piece that was trying to make a super team where he was coming from. Him and $1 billion picks for Paul George to make the Clippers a super team. He was not the super teamer. We're seeing it right now with Giannis, where, I don't know if everybody heard this. We already kind of poked fun at him once. But Stephen A. basically said if Giannis doesn't win another NBA championship, he's an underachiever. And the basketball world collectively looked at him and went, no, because Giannis has a homegrown championship, right? The team that drafted him, he stayed, he built, he was the best player, and they won an NBA championship. So everybody pretty much stood up and went, no, he's not an underachiever, right? Dirk, not an underachiever. Can't be, right? Based on, he may have only gotten one, but it was not a super team. It was not a bubble. It was a championship. Haliburton and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander have the opportunity to get that ultimate no. You can't take me out of conversations. Right? The cover charge on all these conversations about great players is one championship where you were the main character, and they would earn the ante, if you will. And then elsewhere, guys like Pascal Siakam becomes a 2-time NBA champ. Guys like Andrew Nembhard, Nesmith, guys like Mathurin for the Pacers, Miles, they become legit, like they're better players with a championship on their resume. It just is what it is. They're higher price players with a championship on their resume. So, yeah, this best of 3 series that they're going to play from this point forward, I think it's going to be really exciting. Also, I don't know why we do this every time. The Pacers are now being compared to the 7 seconds or less Suns. The Suns played fast back in the day. Every team that gets up and down the court isn't trying to be Steve Nash and Mike D'Antoni. We can just let them be. Like, Rick Carlisle was in the league playing fast tempo, shoot a lot of threes basketball when the 7 seconds or less Suns were doing it. It doesn't all have to be attributed.
That was about 20-ish years ago. And I think I saw this stat a while back that pace of play that the Suns had back 20 years ago will be in the bottom 10 of the NBA nowadays in terms of pace of play. But back then it was super fast. But now everyone else is playing. Now everyone's taken that and is now doing it even faster. Like, the pace of play by the Suns back in that day would be slow in today's NBA. It'd be like the UVA.
Funny. I didn't know that. That's funny. But there are and by the way, the Suns, they never made an NBA Finals. They didn't have that much postseason success. I don't know why every team that plays fast immediately gets compared to them. It's just like every team that plays good defense suddenly is like the 2004 Pistons. And I'm going no, they do it completely differently. We need to get more creative with our comps. That's going to be if I ever ran for czar of sports, one of my campaign promises is we're going to get better at comps. We're going to get better at comparisons. There's somebody in the media, I won't say who, but you could find out if you Google it, I'm sure. Somebody in the media, I was listening to a pod of potential 2026 NFL draft. Cade Klubnik, Clemson Tigers quarterback, had a really good season last year, draft prospect for next year. I think I could give you 100 guesses. You wouldn't have guessed who this national media member was using as his comp. Matt Stafford. Bruh. I mean, aside of this is exactly one of my nerdy group chats. I said, well, aside from arm strength, size, and play style, I think he's got a point. It's very different. Matt Stafford's arm, and I'm not exaggerating on this, is one of one. It is unreal. Might be the most underrated arm in the history of football. He is top 5 all time arm strength. And don't make me list out the 5 because I haven't thought about it that much. But he is unbelievable arm strength and arm talent. And no offense to Cade Klubnik, Not top 5 all time. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we grab numbers game contestants, I want to tell you all about Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry and the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop. How about this, everybody? One of the coolest parts about buying watches, I have a Pilot's watch on my arm right now. One of the coolest parts about buying watches is the process. It's going through. It's finding the perfect watch for you to mark an occasion, a graduation, a milestone at work, something, a promotion, an anniversary, right? Father's Day, which just passed. Marking an occasion with the perfect watch. And one way you can do that is by following the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop on Instagram, at Fox and Bailey Watch Shop. Pretty easy to remember. But what that does is they have a constant rotation of pre-owned and vintage timepieces, and they post quite a few of them. When they get a new shipment or a new stocking of the latest from your favorite brands, we're talking Blancpain, Norcane, the Omegas. Their feed is like basically a VIP preview of all of the watches in their shop for collectors and enthusiasts. So when your favorite watch pops up, or when you learn something new about a watch or a specific movement or a specific complication, you go, ooh, that's nice. I want to add that to my list. Then when you go buying, when you're ready to mark an occasion with a beautiful timepiece, you have a little bit more info. You know a little bit more about what you're looking for. It's all on Instagram, Fox and Bailey Watch Shop. I follow. You should too. Check out their stories. Always something interesting. Fox and Bailey Watch Shop. And stop by the Fox and Bailey Watch Shop at Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location in Raleigh. And let them know you heard about it here when you do stop in. Right now, we need some numbers game contestants. The number to call is 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete in the numbers game. And the prize for today, going to the winner, a $50 gift card to Apex Racing Lab.
Nice.
That's pretty sweet. $50 to Apex Racing Lab. Give them a call. Give us a call now if you want to play the numbers game. 919-860-5326. Numbers game next.
The Adam Gold Show.
Minicamp is great. I love the optimism around the wide receiver position. It all comes back to Bryce Young, though, doesn't it? Look, he was so good at the end of the year last year, but I just don't know what level of importance, what value to place on games in which it did not matter whether or not Carolina won or lost. Not that there wasn't value, I'm just skeptical about it.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Hot summer days mean time on the water. Let Soundstation and Security make your time even better with our custom boat options. At Soundstation and Security, our Raleigh marine experts can help you for everything with your boat, from the perfect audio system to lights to video. We do it all custom, and we do it all from scratch. You're unique. Your boat should be too. Make sure everyone knows where the best party is this summer on the lake with Soundstation and Security. With 2 locations, downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
It's bow time. Yep, it's eating time again. Now you could unload groceries, chop, dice, mince, preheat, heat, slap around the smoke detector, and then celebrate with a big old pile of dishes. But if you're tired of cooking, or tired of sorta cooking, it's time to feed the whole family with Bojangles Fried Chicken Family Meal. With Bojangles' famous chicken, fixins, biscuits, and tea, you can forget the cookbook and spend some well-earned quality time with a delicious dinner from Bojangles. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing for some of that bodacious Bojangles flavor. Satisfy your craving for flavor and your passion for boneless chicken with Bojangles 4-piece Supremes dinner. 4 perfectly seasoned Cajun-fried whole breast tenderloin fillets, choice of fixin', a made-from-scratch buttermilk biscuit, and Bojangles' legendary iced tea. When you're hungry for flavor and value, it's bow time.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. And along those lines, we just had a caller drop. So we need one of you to step in. We need a pinch hitter to run right to the batter's box and get ready to play. 919-860-5326. An awesome opportunity to win a $50 gift card to Apex Racing Lab and play the numbers game, the glory that comes with the numbers game. We do have one contestant lined up, another drop, so there's an open line. 919-860-5326. This doesn't happen often, so take advantage of it. You called in earlier and you couldn't get through. Now's the time. 919-860-5326. The prize is a $50 gift card. There we go. Dennis just picked up the phone, so I assume we will have a new contestant. It looks like David in Durham. David in Durham is on line 2. Brian and Carrie has been on the line waiting patiently. Those will be our 2 contestants for today. Brian and Carrie and David in Durham. As always, we will ask the same question to both of them, both of our contestants, and they will have a chance to answer. Dennis will pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first. All right, my computer's now being all weird. Everything's acting a little funny today. All right, we have Brian.
It's hot outside.
Darn right it is. Some of us
That's the reason why.
Did yard work yesterday. It was very hot. Brian and Carrie, are you there?
Yes.
All right. The question is, as it often is on Mondays, what was the highlight of your past weekend? But because we're a sports show, keep it somehow sports related. So what was the sports highlight of your past weekend?
I will always love watching the U.S. Open.
Okay. Dennis, any follow-ups? Nope. All right, cool. Brian, your answer is locked in. We'll see if you go first. David in Durham, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, same question to you. What was the highlight of your past weekend? But because we're a sports show, make sure it involves sports somehow.
I had friends in town, and I did not lose a single game of cricket darts to my buddy.
All right. Cricket darts? Is that a game that I should know?
Well, the game is cricket, but yeah, darts.
Okay. The game is cricket. I'll look it up. Dennis, what do you have? Do you have the U.S. Open or do you have beating your buddy at darts?
I'm not going to lie. Cricket darts is actually very difficult because that's where you get to like 320s, 319s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I've played.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was called cricket.
So that one's
it's either, I don't know if it's difficult. If you're bad, it takes a long
exactly.
time.
That's the reason why it's difficult because it takes forever.
Only if you're bad. If you're good, it could go quick, I assume.
There was some pretty exciting ending to the U.S. Open, so I'm going to go probably U.S. Open for my selection here. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Brian and Carrie, though darts is just fun.
And beating your buddies always fun.
Exactly.
Especially if they're from out of town, because then it's like a long time till they can get their get back. You know what I mean? Brian and Carrie, you get to go first. David and Durham, you will have your chance. Just stay on the line. Brian, ready to pick a category?
Yes.
All right. We have NFL players who switched positions from college to the pros. We have NFL players whose first names start with J-E-R. So their first names start with those 3 letters. NBA players that are still all about the triple-doubles, meaning active players with more than one career triple-double, or NHL players, Hurricanes throughout history.
I'm going to go with Hurricanes throughout history.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. I will say the team here, even though we know the team in this category, to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. You have 1 pass if you need it. 30 seconds on the clock. Any questions before we get started?
No, let's go.
All right. You will. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Scott Morrow, Carolina Hurricanes.
56.
Correct. Taylor Hall, Carolina Hurricanes.
71.
Correct. Victor Stolberg, Carolina Hurricanes.
Pass.
Andreas Nodal, Carolina Hurricanes.
26.
Incorrect. Josh Joris, Carolina Hurricanes.
62.
Incorrect. Victor Stolberg, Carolina Hurricanes.
22.
Ooh. Not quite, but you were throwing darts at the end there, ironically. We just talked about darts.
Oh, yeah, 100% I was.
Then my only piece of advice would be throw darts faster, right? If you're just picking numbers, you could have gotten a few more chances at it. You got Morrow, 56. You got Hall with 71. Stolberg, the reason why I said was it's 25. You threw 22 there on a dart throw. That's kind of close. Nodal would have been 14, and Joris 19 is what we were looking for. You did get 2, though, so we've seen 2 win in the past. We'll go ahead and leave you on hold, see if it holds up. And that brings us to David in Durham. David, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, the categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players that switched positions from college to the pros, NFL players whose first name starts with J-E-R, or NBA players that are all active players and have at least one triple-double.
Let's give the NBA triple-double active players a shot.
And I did misspeak there. It's more than one triple-double, not at least one, more than one. So I will give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. 1 pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. You need at least 3 for the win, and your time will start when you hear the horn. Karl Anthony Towns, New York Knicks.
8.
Incorrect. Trae Young, Atlanta Hawks.
5.
Incorrect. Karl Anthony Towns, New York Knicks.
Pass.
Drew Holiday, Boston Celtics.
23.
Incorrect. Trae Young, Atlanta Hawks.
6.
Incorrect. Karl Anthony Towns, New York Knicks.
33.
Incorrect. Drew Holiday, Boston Celtics.
22.
Incorrect. Trae Young, Atlanta Hawks.
8.
You know what? It was after the buzzer, but Trae Young 8 was correct. So you still got shut out, but I don't know. That could make you feel a little bit better. Karl Anthony Towns, we were looking for number 32. That's what he wears with the Knicks. Trae Young, we would have accepted 8 or 11. I think he's better known as 11, but 8 would have been right. And Drew Holiday with the Celtics wears number 4, which is ironically the same amount of triple-doubles that he's had. Both Towns and Young have 3 triple-doubles. I don't know why, but I would have assumed both of those would have been higher. Either way, you did not get any right. Hopefully you had some fun, though.
I had a great time. Thanks.
All right, appreciate it. I always feel bad when we drop a caller and we rush someone on and then they do poorly. It's like, oh, we kind of asked you to do that. I feel like I set you up. But Brian and Carrie's the winner regardless. Brian, we didn't set you up. You set yourself up with a $50 gift card to Apex Racing Lab.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Congratulations on the win. Go ahead and stay on the line. Dennis has some info he needs to grab from you. All right. There we go. I will say, though, I would not have gotten those last couple for the Canes. Those were some deeper cuts. The NBA ones, I don't know.
NBA would be my worst one, to be honest. NBA would absolutely be my worst.
For whatever reason, I think like every All-Star has like 10 triple-doubles. I don't know why. I just think if you've been an All-Star, there has to be a couple games where you just, had a good day. But I guess literally just a couple of them. But then DeJounte Murray, I just ruined this one because that one's one of the ones we haven't asked. But DeJounte Murray had 20. How does he have 20 and Karl Anthony Towns has 3? How does that happen? I know, it's this play style and everything else. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm going to stop talking about triple-doubles because Dennis has something he'd like to tell you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Law Tigers. Something if you're a motorcycle rider you should do. You should go to lawtigers.com. Next time, before you get on the bike again, go to lawtigers.com. Scroll down on their homepage. They have a free rider benefit kit for you. Again, free. Keyword free. You sign up, get the free rider benefit kit. It is something good for you to have and know, having knowledge and comfort before you get back on the motorcycle, understanding what rights and benefits you have while you're on the bike, and in case you are in a motorcycle accident. And this is where Law Tigers comes in if you're injured in a motorcycle accident. Law Tigers attorneys are part of the motorcycle riding community. They know what your bike is worth, what your gear is worth, and what you're going through after an accident. And your case evaluation with Law Tigers is always free, and they don't get paid a dime until your case gets settled. So Law Tigers, they're out there to look out for you. Insurance companies, they want to pay you the least amount possible. Law Tigers is the opposite. They're looking to get the most out there for you that you can get. So again, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS if you're injured in a motorcycle accident. The number again, 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. But go to lawtigers.com and check out that free rider benefit kit. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, hits our question of the day. 39 days until Carolina Panthers training camp. Figure out what we're asking coming up next.
Champions are crowned on 99.9 The Fan.
Gildas Alexander squares, fires, hits, and Oklahoma City takes the lead.
Basketball tonight. Indiana, Oklahoma City, the NBA Finals.
SGA will try a three, and it's good.
Game 5. Tip-off at 8:30 on your audio home for the NBA Finals. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
The Thunder have evened the NBA Finals at 2 games apiece.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending and Cary. Over the years, I'm often asked why we made the choice to become one of the only mortgage companies in the state to provide loans without closing costs as a primary source of funding. And my response is always the same. How did closing costs ever become a thing? Who was that first person who asked for a lower rate, heard it would cost $15,000 to save $50 a month, smiled and said, "That'd be great." Recently, we're noticing a trend of large national lenders quoting low rates but with a high APR. This is the definition of what happened when that first person asked for a lower rate but ignored how much it would cost. Quotes today are a two-part process. It's not just the rate, but what are the closing costs? At Miller Lending, we simply don't believe you'll keep your loan long enough to realize additional savings. So before you throw away thousands of dollars in needless fees, pick up the phone and call Miller Lending today. 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. You know, we take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come in, throw it in, and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you, hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your independent terrain dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. 38 days, sorry. I said it wrong before the break. 38 days till the Carolina Panthers begin training camp. 38 is practically, like 35? 35 might as well be 30. We're a month away. Does that logic work?
Yeah.
Not if you think about it too much, but if you just roll with it. We've been doing one question per show leading all the way up to training camp about the Carolina Panthers. And this is actually building off of a conversation we had last week, today's question. And it's one that I'm seeing debated more and more. Joe Person of The Athletic referenced it in an article. But, again, we had started the conversation last week. Who are the 6 wide receivers that make the team? Right now, you would assume 6. Last year, they opened up their season with 5, and then eventually Coker got pulled up from the practice squad once Thielen got hurt, and then he stayed.
Well, keep in mind, on the initial 53, they had 7. Then they made some waiver claims. Then that's where Coker and a couple others got dropped down.
Yeah, so
initial 53 was 7.
Game 1 had 5.
But, yeah, game 1 had 5, though.
And then they eventually brought Coker up due to injuries, then kept him up even when the injured players came back and finished the season with 6. So who are the 6? If we say they're going to roll with 6, right, which I think that's fair, right, if it rolls with 6. And here's why it's interesting, because last week when talking about Coker's role, I said I think he makes the 53, but it's not fair that he's going to have to sweat it out because he's done everything right. And then Joe Person basically said the same thing, although he here's the way he put it, all right, in the Athletics article. Thielen, McMillan, and Leggett are locks. Okay, so those three, put them in there. Horn, he believed likely is a lock as well, given that he's a draft pick from this past draft, and he could easily be the punt returner. That leaves veterans Hunter Renfrow, David Moore, and Dan Chisena. There we go. Chisena. Needless to say, I don't think Dan is going to be one of the six.
Probably not.
But those three veterans competing with younger players like Jalen Coker and undrafted free agent Jacoby George fighting for the final spot or two. If we say two, right, that becomes a really interesting conversation. And Canales was asked about it. Well, actually, first of all, I'll give you the Thielen side. Thielen was asked about it, and he said, yeah, it's actually kind of nice. It's the first time since I've been here that I genuinely don't know who is going to kind of be the final guy. And he's saying it's nice because that means they have more than the allotted number of like NFL wide receivers. He's saying in the past, you know, hey, we were scratching to find enough wide receivers to fill our roster. This year it feels like they have more than the amount of spots they have, which is a good thing. Dave Canales was asked about it, and here's his response. Special teams is going to be such a huge piece of that puzzle. How can these guys help us in the coverage units? Can they help us as a returner? That's the part where we get to challenge our guys to find a role. Take this thing seriously. You're not just here to catch passes. We only get so many helmets on game day, so we need all of you guys to contribute in different ways. End quote. I can't remember Jalen Coker on special teams last year. Probably because he wasn't on the roster at first and they set those units. And right, if you're called up to replace Adam Thielen's not gunning on punt. So whoever was the punt the punt gunner was probably already there, right? Do you think Jalen Coker has to find a way to contribute on special teams to solidify the spot? Because I like looking at his physical profile, and his history. I mean, can he tackle? We don't even know.
He did cover kicks last year.
Okay, he did. I don't remember that.
I did see at minicamp that he was also on some of the coverage units last year.
Good, because I think he deserves to be on the roster. And if it's going to come down to special teams, it's such a bummer when you're like, oh, man, you didn't make it because you can't cover punts, when most of these guys their entire lives were not asked to cover punts. They've been the best athlete, the offense-defense guy their entire life.
It's one of the reasons why Terrace Marshall Jr., outside of just his play, but didn't make a team because he doesn't play special teams.
Yep.
But Jalen Coker was willing and able to do it.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better. If you had to pick six, do we want to talk this out right now? We have 5 minutes.
I can give you six names real fast.
All right, let me hear them.
Well, McMillan, Leggett, Thielen, like you said,
Locks.
are locks. I think you're also Jalen Coker, Jimmy Horn, Hunter Renfrow, David Moore, the odd man out.
David Moore. Was there any pause because that's Canales' dude, and he is a big contributor on special teams.
He is, because he can return, he can cover kicks, and he does have some trust already there with Bryce Young. But I think the way Renfrow, at least what I saw at minicamp, the question is, can his body hold up because of he just really hasn't physically been himself over a few years. I think the way we saw Hunter Renfrow also can contribute returning kicks as well. I mean, he's another guy that can work well in the slot and can just simply get open.
Do you know, this is not an exaggeration. Do you know what is one of my favorite plays I have ever seen on a football field? Hunter Renfrow was returning a kick, a punt for the Raiders. And there's a trick play run. I don't even remember who they're playing. There's a trick play, and it's open. And probably a gunner is open down the left side, and the ball is put on the money. And Hunter Renfrow, from his spot as a returner, comes flying downhill and doesn't go for the ball, just lays a hit and dislodges the ball. And it is one of those, like, a coach showing the film on Monday is playing that 100 times and showing the team, this is the kind of effort and not give up that we need. He's a punt returner. He's 35 yards away, and when he sees there's a fake, he doesn't just go, fake, and try to, slow down and go, half-heartedly try to make a tackle. He came flying downhill and lit him up and broke up the pass, which obviously is the same as like a great kick return, right? You get the ball back where the line of scrimmage was. I think Renfrow can endear himself to Canales in a similar way that like David Moore has, by being selfless and doing all the little things and being a good mentor in the room and all of that for the rest of the guys. And maybe that makes David Moore a little, for lack of a better term, expendable. I was never in favor, even last year, of David Moore playing very much, because I thought those reps should go to the younger, potentially core part of the future guys, and he's just too old for that. So I am in very much favor of the ones you mentioned. Like, if there's going to be an old guy on the roster, make it Thielen.
Yeah.
And if there's going to be a, like, hey, this gritty vet route runner is going to show the young guys, make it Renfrow, because he's a former Pro Bowler. Like, he's done it at a level that David Moore has never done it.
And keep in mind, David Moore's on a 1-year contract. Renfro's on a 1-year contract. Adam Thielen's on the last year of his. Like, Coker's someone that you can build with, along with Leggett, Horn, and McMillan. Like, that's the thing. You want to have that, because he's still just in his second year. There's cost control with him. Those are all things you got to keep in mind as well. Decisions you make at this position aren't going to impact just what you do this year. It's going to impact what you do in 26 and 27 as well.
Very true. So those 6, which means David Moore on the way out.
Yeah. Now, if Renfrow, like, during camp shows that, hey, you know what, his body just can't hold up because he had the ulcerative colitis issue, and just his body is transformed and changed so much. Like, can he handle the rigors of an NFL season? We just don't know that yet. Maybe just during camp you just realize, hey, you know what, he's already slowing down a little bit. What do you expect him to do in week 10 if he's already slowing down in, week 4 of training camp? So then maybe you trust David Moore in that sense. So I don't know. That's a big question that's still looming out there, I would say.
I mean, I don't think Hunter Renfrow is ever going to be a 50-snap-a-game guy ever again.
No, I don't think so.
You're looking for him on third downs. You're looking for him to route people up over the middle. And potentially as I don't even know if he's still the returner of the past where you're looking for him to break. I think he's a super safe returner. He's been back there a lot. He knows what it's like. If you need a fair catch in a big moment to get your team the ball, you send out Renfrow. Jimmy Horn might be the option of, not only do we need this caught, we might need a spark, and his feet look quick.
Let's also keep this in mind. Jimmy Horn's dealing with a hamstring injury. You don't even know how healthy he's going to be going into training camp. So
Stash it and kick the can down the road.
It's a potential thing. He might be on the physically unable to perform list depending on how his hamstring reacts, because he didn't participate in minicamp. So that's something we got to keep in mind too. That might impact a lot of this decision making as well.
I hate hamstrings with a fiery passion.
I know. I've seen you pull one of yours.
Who hasn't at this point? Who hasn't seen me tweak a hammy? They go quiet. They don't go away. I hate them. So Jimmy Horn, get it right. If it means taking a little bit of time, get it right. I promise you will regret it if you don't. Those 6, and they could keep 5, as we saw last year.
I think 6 is the number.
Do you think they go with a vet if one becomes available? If they see someone out there they like. I don't know if special is available out there in the free agency market, but could be trustworthy more so than some young guys. Just throwing every option out there. Fans do not like that Coker is even being discussed, but I do think you have to, especially when the coach is throwing special teams out there, because at the very least he runs almost a 4.6. Like, he's not returning kicks, he's not returning punts. He's a bigger wide receiver. So there's a definite possibility where if it comes down to special teams, he's not your best target there, but it would just be, I feel like you'd waste all your scouting department found it. They found an NFL wide receiver in an undrafted free agency heap. That's like the goal. To not keep him around feels like you're wasting one of those eureka moments. It's like, we got one. All right. It's like catching the dream trophy fish. We got it. We did it. We've talked about it. And then throwing it right back in. All right, let's try to do it again. It's like, oh, yeah, we had it.
Coker last season had 31 special team snaps. David Moore had 52. Granted, David Moore played all 17 games.
31. I maybe that's the issue. I don't remember him on special teams at all.
It was mostly return. Like, he was kick
blocking?
returning when, like, Rasheem Blackshear was hurt or some other guys were hurt. He was kind of back there returning kickoffs, but
so he was just letting him fly over his head?
Basically.
Kick return, such a lost art. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, coming to a close here. Do we have Overdrive up today?
We do. We're talking a little Will Wade.
Will Wade. Oh, Will Wade called out Hubert Davis. If you missed it, you want to hear the audio, and it's gonna be right here at the top of Overdrive. The word dumb was used. I mean, Will Wade was talking about coaching decisions by UNC, and the word dumb was used. That's great for the rivalry. It's fantastic. So that's coming up here on Overdrive. I have not done this yet today, so please subscribe to our YouTube. A little personal favor. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. We're constantly putting things up, and we want you to be a part of that community. Comment, subscribe, all those things while you're there. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, have a great night, everybody. WakeMed Brain and Spine wants to stop strokes in their tracks. If you think someone is having a stroke, use the acronym B FAST and assess these functions. B, balance. Do they have trouble walking? E, eyes. Are they having trouble seeing? F, face. Does their smile droop? A, arms. Ask the person to raise